Mic check 1 2. 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 Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Random Show. It's the Random Show. It's the Random Show. What's happening, people? What's crack-a-lacking? Hope you are well wherever this live stream will find you. Hope you are doing splendid. Hope you are doing splendid. Hope you are doing splendid. How am I? All good, all things considered. All good, all things considered. I cannot complain. I really could complain, but I'm not going to complain because I'm grateful for what I have. You get me? Just got back from the gym, had a nice little session in the gymnasium. Just got back from the gym, feeling strong, feeling fine, ready to go. Got my hydration going, water and shit, you feel me? We out here, we out here, we out here. Day number what? 25. Day number 25. Day number 25. Big up everybody in the stream chat. 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 Thank you for joining me once again. Random show settings. Day number 25 of 31. 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 We are getting so close. We're so close. We're touching it. We're touching the end. We're so fucking close. We're so fucking close. We're getting there. We're reaching out with our hands and our fingers. Hopefully we're going to get there soon, okay? Hopefully we're going to get there soon. Big up the stream chat. Big up everybody joining in. Big up everybody joining in. Big up everybody joining in. I appreciate you. Today's stream, we're going to concentrate more on Duncan Trussell's reply to Elephant Graveyard. There's a bit of a rounding up drama on that one because I covered a bit of it in previous streams, so we're going to try and round it up as best as possible. The bit of drama going on there with some Elephant Graveyard's fans or something, or maybe I don't know if they're Elephant Graveyard fans or if they're disgruntled Duncan Trussell fans who kind of recognized a lot of things that Elephant Graveyard pointed out about Duncan Trussell, and it kind of basically revealed to them stuff that they've been probably ignoring. The fact that Duncan Trussell's changed a lot and it just made them blow up and then decided to get on him, or if the Elephant Graveyard fans, I don't know which one it is. It could be a mixture of both, but they've been kind of getting at Duncan Trussell and he decided to reply properly. Last time he handed like a troll parody type of thing that didn't go down too well, but this time he replied properly, addressed some of the points that were raised in the Elephant Graveyard's great fucking video. That's been the talk of the town, the talk of the industry. It feels like even Rogan, who's usually very kind of dismissive of any type of criticism, of commentary, he kind of talks down or looks down on people who basically have something to say about what he does, especially if it's not praise or sucking him off and shit. Even Rogan has admitted in a weird way, in his own way, he didn't admit it full on, but he admitted in his own way that even he's watched Elephant Graveyard video. So my doubts about it were put to one side, were definitely made to be incorrect. I doubted for a long time whether or not these comedians would watch it because, like I said plenty of times, I feel like, I don't feel like this, but I'm sure you guys also, have seen this yourself. A lot of these comedians are extremely thin-skinned and incapable of listening to even just opinions outside of their own. They'd get very sensitive, very, very, very sensitive. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to covering that. We're also going to do a bit of Schaub show. Schaub show has kind of dropped a new little bit we need to kind of get into as well. So we're going to check out the Schaub show as well. That looks a bit funny. And then we're also going to go on Unique. We're also going to check out Unique's channel. I've been hearing some people have been mentioning my name. I heard my name's got mentioned somewhere. So we might have to take a look at a Unique video and see why my name has been mentioned. Why I have been the talk of the town. Why some people have been inserting my name into some drama. Drama. So we're going to take a look at Unique's videos as well. Because I think he pulled some videos from that 10 minutes of Schaub live stream. where they watched a lot of Gringo Pappy and other sort of stuff, I think, for 24 hours. But to be fair to those guys, or not to be fair, you know, I'm a stickler for the details. It wasn't actually 24 hours. It wasn't actually 24 hours. I think it was less than 24 hours, but still a fucking gargantuan task by those guys. So big up them. I think it was like 11 hours plus or something stupid like that. So big up them. Any time spent watching that is fucking crazy. So let's check it out. We're gonna go check it out. We're gonna go check all that stuff out. It's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be really, really fun. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, all that stuff in between. Obviously, as you guys know, this is a marathon stream. We're trying to do a marathon every day. I've done a marathon every day, every single day for the past 25 days on the random show, most of which have been 2 hours plus. So if you've enjoyed those streams and you want to get more streams, I'm going to do, I think on Wednesday and Thursday will be the member only streams. So if you want to have access to member only streams, all that malarkey, make bloody sure you become a member by clicking the link in the description down below. Remember, the streams on Wednesdays and Thursdays will be members only. So if you want to get access to those things, make sure you click the link in the description, become a member, give the membership to somebody in the community. All that fucking good shit will be much appreciated. Apart from that, if you want to support the show, like the stream along the way, make sure you like the stream. Likes have been a bit, you know, a bit shit lately. So if you can, make sure to like the stream before you leave anytime. That'd be greatly appreciated. What else I was gonna say? Like the stream, and yeah, and subscribe, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you want as well. I think at the moment to chat actually is subscriber only. So if you're not subscribed, you can't chat. But that's just subscribing regularly. Nothing crazy. No money needed on that side. All those are free options to support the show. Like, subscribe, take part in the chat, all that good shit. And of course, check the link in the description too. There's a Discord link there too. There's a good community of people over there on Discord. Get involved with the Discord people. Really funny lot over there. So make sure you jump on there if you want to have some extended lols. Link in the description for the Discord lols. Link in the description for the Discord lols. Okay, cool. That's about it really. Let's get into the show. Bear with me a second as I just make sure everything is where it needs to be. Bear with me 2 seconds here. I think we got everything we need where it needs to be, right? I'm pretty sure. Alright, cool. Everything's back where it needs to be. Let's go. First things to cover. I'm sure some of you guys remember this, right? But I covered this the other day about the ESPN presenter Molly Qerim leaving randomly, right? Molly Qerim really leaving randomly. It kind of came out of the blue, from what I can understand, reading between the lines. I'm not someone that watches First Take religiously, but I know that she was a big part of the show. Yeah, it kind of came out of the blue. We kind of spoke about that really funny reaction that Stephen A. Smith had to her leaving, where it kind of sounded like she died or something, or she broke up with him. He sounded very somber, very sad about all that sort of shit. So this is an update on that whole situation. And the really funny thing about it is that, from what I can tell, it seems like that Molly Qerim woman might have left because she was being underpaid, like as a woman, which you don't necessarily think happens nowadays, isn't it? You think we've moved on as a society. You think there's a lot of, like, you know, equality when it comes to pay and shit. But I guess in some industries, women are still getting paid less, which is really bizarre when you think about how far we've come as a society and shit. But I guess these things are still there, and we have a lot of work to do. Again, let's just read the article and see what it says. According to Daily Mail, it says here that ESPN executive reveals real reason why Molly Qerim suddenly quit the network. Molly Qerim left ESPN in abrupt fashion after failing to reach an agreement over a new contract. Qerim, 41, shocked viewers and popular ESPN sports talk show First Take after suddenly ending her 19-year stint with ESPN. Last weekend, amid those reports, she took to Instagram to confirm that she was bowing out of First Take host after a decade in the hot seat before longtime colleague Stephen A. Smith later that night said that she has also left the entire company. Following her stunning exit, ESPN president and content Burke Magnus admitted that Qerim had surprised them with the timing of her decision, but explained how they had recently failed to come to terms over renewal. The quote, "Molly Qerim is a wonderful person and an unbelievable teammate and colleague," Magnus said in an interview at The Athletic. there was a couple of dimensions to this one. One is obviously we're in a renewal conversation. Two is 10 years to do something like that is a long time. Before we continue, I'm not gonna lie, one of my little like triggers and red flags when it comes to employment is when you go to a job and they start talking to you like, they start using the terms we're family, or if you work in a certain company they start calling you each other teammates. We're not teammates, we work together, we're work colleagues. This is a company that we're working for. Most of us are working here for a check. We don't give a fuck about the company's missions or plans or goals. We're here for the fucking money on. We're exchanging our time for money. That's the arrangement. But when companies start doing the whole family, teammates, community, run for the hills, because usually those companies are full of fucking bullshit, full of drama, full of chaos. It should just be a straight exchange. You got a skill, you can help this company do this task. Your ability to do that skill will allow the company to meet this quota, this sales target. It's a straight, easy exchange. None of this family teammate shit. That's weird. That's where they exploit you. That's where they exploit you. You're not a family. You work for this company. But anyway, let's continue. It says here, I'm not going to speak for her, but I think there was a feeling that she wants to do other things, and successfully being on top of a show like that for a decade qualifies as maybe I can turn the page and do something else. There's that Molly Crim woman we're talking about now. We tried to have her do other things and to redo that agreement. It honestly became less about her and more about, in my opinion, her wanting to do other things and explore other things. It ended up being easier for her to make a clean break entirely. I don't buy that, bro. I don't fucking buy that. I don't buy that because that's a good job. Being a presenter for ESPN or being a host that she was for that ESPN show is a really good job. She probably gets a budget for wardrobe, most likely, right? Keep this in mind. Sorry. She probably gets a budget for wardrobe. If she doesn't get a budget for wardrobe, she probably has people reaching out to give her clothes. So none of that's coming out of her own money. She probably has people reaching out to do her hair and makeup. None of that's coming out of her own money. So she's probably getting nice, clean check dropping in her fucking account all the fucking time. You get a car service that picks you up from your home to the fucking studio every single day. You get to, you know, do a show on live TV that broadens your fucking horizons. You get bookings off the back of being on ESPN, other type of media fucking obligations. Like good, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and obviously when they're not showing football anymore, I'm assuming you have a break, you can go on holiday and vacation and relax. This is not a job you leave, you know, abruptly like this. You leave abruptly because you don't feel like you're probably being compensated or something a bit fugazi went on in the background. But I don't believe this idea, oh, she'll just want to change. Yeah, right. Let's continue. There's a bunch of women out there that will probably kill to have the role that she had. Magnus also revealed that Qerim was already going to step down as First Take host at the end of the year. Exactly, that's what I heard as well. I did read that online, that she was already going to step down, but something happened, I guess, that made her, you know, bring that decision forward. First Take was host at the end of the year, meaning she was keen to embark on a new chapter. She was going to come off of First Take either way, and that was something where we had already crossed that bridge. So it was, from our perspective, much more about what else could she be doing? How could we make her more versatile? Get her involved in different things. That's what we were trying to do. I read a lot of stuff on X on Tuesday. There's no controversy here. There's no shoe that's going to drop. She's an awesome person, you know, it's business. You try your best. We just weren't really aligned. Totally respect her interest in, rather than going into a less defined situation, to make a clean break and try other things outside ESPN. ESPN must now turn its attention to Qerim's replacement, and Magnus says that they'll spend at least 30 to 45 days testing out a number of potential options before making a decision. Wow. Very, very extensive and thorough process, isn't it? 30 to 45 days to find the replacement. Shit. Qerim first joined ESPN back in 2006. So this is what, and obviously you see this picture of Stephen A. Smith and Molly. That's how you know this is why he was upset. He might just be, and again, people were saying, myself as well, I was saying that maybe, you know, fucking Stephen A. Smith was fucking interested in her shit, and that's why he was crying when she left, or it seemed like he was about to cry. It could just be simply the fact that Stephen A. Smith felt really sad that she left, because obviously they've grown close. And also, you know, if you got a colleague at work that doesn't, you know, that scrubs up pretty well, It's a pretty nice motivator in the morning, isn't it? To get dressed, to put on your best cologne, keep yourself in good shape. You know, you both kind of rub off on each other. Iron sharpens iron. So when that person leaves, it can be a bummer. I know myself working in a workplace, forget just even the opposite sex, just even a dude. Sometimes you have a guy that you work with, like your fucking colleague, you know what I mean? He's your bestie at work, and then he leaves. That can break your heart, man. It could, sometimes, especially if I've been in a situation, I'm sure some of you guys are the same. I've been into situations where you're working in a job that's shit, usually retail, working in a bar, restaurant and shit. And usually the job is terrible, but the staff are amazing. I think I've had that twice in my life. I've had that twice, where you work a shit job that if the other colleagues weren't there, you wouldn't work there. You'd quit immediately. But the other guys and girls, they make it worthwhile. Like there's non-stop jokes. From the time you walk up to the store, to the bar, to the restaurant, it's a non-stop banter, non-stop fucking taking the piss out of each other. And those are fun. And then when someone leaves, like a big part of the group, it's like, fuck, man. You know what I mean? It reminds you you're working a shit job and you also miss the person. So it could just be he was sad. Nah, she's not dead. She's not dead. Yo, big up Joe from MIA. Big up Joe from MIA. Big up Licia Manuel, Wagwan GG. Big up Don Dotta, My Nuts, I see you. Risley Bear, I see you. Pity, I see you. Jesse L, I see you. Jack Donnelly Jr., I see you. Ason, I see you. Yeah, big up. No, she's not dead. She just left ESPN. She's not dead. She just left ESPN. And then the update here is courtesy this guy called Marcellus Wiley. Marcellus Wiley says that Molly Qerim saw how Malika Andrews and Mina Kims got paid at ESPN, and she realized that the network was lowballing her. Even though she's been holding down the #1 show, First Take, for years, and on top of that, Stephen A. Smith wasn't going to bat for her. So the suggestion here is that maybe Molly Qerim and Stephen A. Smith weren't as close as you think they were. Maybe Stephen A. Smith wasn't going out of his way to help her get more money, which is weird because in the beginning I made the wrong assessment and thinking, oh yeah, she wasn't getting paid like the men, but it seems like she was getting underpaid compared to the women as well. And I'm sure some of you guys have been there. I've been there before. It's a painful situation. It's a painful situation when you find out from your other colleagues, that they're getting paid more than you are and you're doing the same job. That pain, no one can understand it until you've been through it. No one can understand it. When you go to a job, it's even worse because I've done it once. It happened to me once actually, where I went to a job and then I found out after the fact the person that I replaced was on like 5k 10k more than me, and I was doing obviously more than they were doing. Because you can't blame the company. The company is going to do what the company's going to do, right? They're going to lowball you money wise, and they're going to make you do more than the person before because they want to, they want to just make sure they're getting more out of their fucking salary. But for you as the employee, that realization that you're on less money, that realization that they're taking a piss out of you, god damn, son, god damn. So yeah, let's play this clip from Marcellus Wiley that elaborates a bit on what happened at Molly Qerim and ESPN. Whoops, let me put the fucking OBS on. My bad, I fucked that up.
Morning, instead of Molly showing up to work, she puts out an Instagram post. And in that Instagram post, you guys remember, one thing she didn't mention was anybody by name, including Stephen A. Smith.
That's a good point. That is a good point. For how close they were, she didn't mention Stephen A. Smith, did she? Yeah. It was just like a general goodbye message. But then Stephen A. was on air trying to make it seem like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss her so much. It's like, I can kind of get Stephen A. Smith's position though. I'm not gonna let me let it play. Big up Abe Martinez, big up My Nuts, appreciate you, brother. Yep, 6 more days, exactly. 6 more days. Big up everybody. Make sure you join and become a member. We've only got 6 more days to reach the target, so join and become a member.
Now, I've left a show or two before, and trust me, you're gonna name some names when you leave that. Just think about Shannon Sharp when he left Undisputed. Goodness, it took about 10 minutes of all the names he dropped. That's my point. Molly didn't do that. So that lets you know already there's some friction behind the scenes. Okay, so they're reporting that it's supposed to be the end of the year. Molly, by action, says it's right now. Instead of I'm leaving now, I'm leaving right now. She made it immediate.
Powerful bunch.
Yo, big up Ryan Harty. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you to that little Korean Finger thing, yeah. Appreciate you. Big up Ryan Harty. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for becoming a member.
Then Stephen A. Smith makes the statement. Now, interesting once again. See, peep all these differences, right? These contradictions in terms of how they usually move and how they're moving with Molly. Max Kellerman left. Stephen A. Smith didn't even show up for the last day. Remember that? Interesting. And we all know that typically they don't talk about talent when they're gone. They just say, thank you for your services and we wish you well. This is a little different for many reasons. So when they're trying to paint it, it looks a lot different. Here we go. This is what's going on behind the scenes on the real. Molly was going through a contract negotiation, obviously, and that was not going well, obviously, because Molly wasn't getting what she wanted. What did Molly want? Molly wanted to do other things at the network, which included hosting her own show, kind of the Max Kellerman plan. I'll leave First Take, that's fine. Y'all got other shows out here, or we could create a show, whatever it may be. Let me land on my feet within the network, still be at the worldwide leader, and do my thing. Now, that wasn't happening. They weren't signing off on her not only hosting another show, but doing other shows within the network. So what happened was offers for her to stay there. Now, reportedly, she's making like around $500,000 a year. Now, contrast that to $20 million a year for Stephen A. Smith, and he's number one on the show and you number two on the show, you can feel a certain type of way. But
Jesus Christ, I get that Molly Qerim is like eye candy type of a thing, right? On mostly sports shows, they always have a really attractive woman that kind of does the moderating, hosting type of thing. Even if she doesn't know much about sports, but she does, right? Even if she didn't know anything about sports, paying her $500,000 and then paying Stephen A. Smith $20 million. I know he does a lot of shows under this ESPN umbrella, but that's crazy, isn't it? The disparity, isn't it? Honestly, women in the workplace, bro, that is fucking insane. She should at least, in my opinion, she should at least be on $1 million a year. She should at least be on $1 million a year, $1 million a year. If Stephen A's on 20, you should at least get $1 million. Even if you're a bimbo and you know nothing about sports. The fact that he's on 20 and you're on 500,000, that's a piss take.
But hey, you got to only eat what you kill. And they didn't feel that she was killing it to the point where they would make her a better offer. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about Burke Magnus. I'm not just talking about all the other bosses that Stephen A. Smith mentions. I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith as well. Because remember, he's an executive producer on that show. And as he will always remind you, that's his show. Think about it. So Molly wants more money to stay on that show. If I'm going to stay, you're going to have to pay me for my suffering. Or give me what I want, give me some more, and let me go do more. They balked at both. So now, what else is going on behind the scenes? The relationship with Stephen A. Smith, one of the worst kept secrets in the business, is that they have a good relationship. They don't, right? They kind of tired on each other, etc. I'm not going to go into all the messy details, but the point is they weren't cool with each other to the point someone you work with for 10 years, you don't even mention them when you're gone. And you don't even give them that like partner heads up on air. Like, hey, we did this thing together. This thing is over, right?
That makes a lot of sense. I get that. Because her statement was kind of dry, innit? Her statement was kind of dry. Well, no, not dry. It was lacking in specificity, right? She didn't really name anyone. She just said, hey, I'm gone. Thank you for the good times, ESPN. Bye. But then Stephen A. Smith was trying to overly make it seem like he was hurt by it. It's like, brother, come on, man. Stephen A. Smith's a bit fake, but I don't know if Stephen A. Smith is fake or he's just good at working, like in corporate, you know, in a corporate world. He just knows how to survive. He knows how to, like, he's the main guy there anyway, but he knows what to do. He knows how to keep his job. He knows how to play. He knows how to play well with others. He knows where his bread is buttered, you know? There's a talent in that sometimes. There's a talent in being able to just do your job. Do your job, keep your head down, not be a fucking bother to anybody. You know what I mean? And I'd imagine too, this is another thing to say, weirdly, I'd imagine the whole Shannon Sharp thing probably shook him up a bit. That's the guy that you endorsed. That's the guy that you put your arm around. That's the guy that you co-signed. And then he fucks it up in a big way. So probably Stephen A. Smith is on like, look, I'm not vouching for nobody anymore, you know? He's probably on some, I'm not vouching for anybody anymore. Like, you're on your own. Work that shit out with the bosses. I'm not getting involved, you know? That might be what he's on now, because that Stephen A. Smith situation was a madness. You know, that could probably, because that could fuck up a bit of your pull, a bit of your fucking leverage. You know, a bit of your influence with the people upstairs. So he's probably on some. You know what? You sort out you, and I'll sort out me.
So that lets you know the business was ugly behind the scenes, to the point, and the personal relationship, that I won't even give you that grace. I won't even give you that out. So that's how that went down. Their relationship, not good. Okay. Now, the last part of it.
Big up Smashimo. I keep saying Smashmio, but it's not Smashimo. Big up Smashimo. I lost some respect, which wasn't much for Stephen A. Smith after I saw him hit mitts. Bro, you can't talk about boxing after I saw that. Yeah, it was crazy. Do you remember LeBron James when he posted that? When him and LeBron James are going back and forth? Do you remember when he posted that? LeBron James posted on Instagram like, man, I ain't worried about you, man. Yeah, but he's also super old, isn't it? People forget he's really old as well. So I just love his walks into the fucking arena. I love his walks. I love the fact that he legitimately walks around like he's one of the athletes. You know what I mean? I love how big time he thinks he is, which he is really, to be fair. He is super big time, but I love that confidence, how he walks in with these suits on, like he's such a funny guy. And I also like his daughter too. I like the honor relationship he's got with his daughter. He brings her on Airst a couple of times. He's a funny dude.
This is the twist. She wanted to do other stuff. No. Basically. You wanted to host your own show. No. Basically. You want more money. Not much. Now, who signs off on all the money there? Think about it. Think about it.
Hey yo, Ason. I don't want to moderate you because I'm not really on the big moderating thing. I think people here usually are well behaved, but allow that kind of talk in the chat, brother. Ason, allow that kind of talk in the chat. I don't want to moderate you or anything, but allow that kind of talk on the chat. I don't really want to see that down in the chat box still, I'm not gonna lie. So allow that kind of chat, that kind of conversation in the chat, my guy.
The bosses. But who are the bosses? That's Stephen A. Smith as well. When there was a Kenyan, Perkins had his deal. And when Perkins was up, remember? Perkins was getting a day job rate, and he turned that into $700,000 a year job. Perkins just talked about that recently, about how Stephen A. Smith has that pull. Stephen A. Smith even talked about that when he checked Cam Newton recently, talking about, hey, I've hooked a lot of guys up with money around here. Dan Orlovsky raised his hand in that moment. Ryan Clark, obviously, another beneficiary of Stephen A. Smith. When he signs off on you, when he signs for you, you get what you want. But guess what? There's a flip to it as well. When he doesn't sign off on you, when he doesn't sign for you, you don't get what you want. And that's obviously a Kerry Champion, a Max Kellerman, Shannon Sharp, even because of his relationship with his bosses. Now think about this. That relationship allows him to know information that others don't, and have influence that others don't. How much you can get paid. You can get the money if I sign off on it, or you can get what you want if I sign off on it. But the thing is, he didn't. How did he know so much about Shannon's situation? And as soon as Shannon...
Hey, yo, Ason, you know that's not the case, brother. You know that's not the case. Be sensible. Be a grown-up. You were talking to some mazza. No one's saying you can't talk about what you're talking about there. Just be sensible, innit? Just be grown up. You know what I mean? It's not that hard, bro. Just don't say stuff in the chat you wouldn't want to say in front of your parents, innit? Not that deep.
And it went through that fire. He was the first one on air saying, come on, man, and talking on both sides because of the bosses, because he was in that meeting. He was in that meeting knowing what the fate of Shannon Sharp was months before Shannon Sharp knew, months before the world knew. That's my point. So he runs with the bosses. And the last point that I wanted to make is one of the bosses in particular, everyone knows in the industry who that person is, but no need to out him. The point is that person, along with Stephen A. Smith, ain't seeing the talent, not seeing the love for Molly Qerim. And she knew this. So
okay, this is fair. I guess it was a complicated situation for Molly. I get why she went. She left. She stood on business, to be fair. She found that she wasn't getting paid as well as the other women. She tried to negotiate a higher pay, tried to get other shows greenlit. It wasn't happening. One of her friends, quote unquote, close colleagues at ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, who's got a lot of pull there, executive producer, he can put a good word in for you to get you good deals. He wasn't co-signing for her, so she bounced. I get it. That's always the best way to go to, by the way. I'm a big believer, and if you're being treated poorly at a job, if you're being treated unfairly, if you're not being compensated well, instead of just working it and building up a lot of resentment, and then becoming the person who, like, because I'm not sure about you guys, but I never want to be that person at work where like you start like moaning, you start complaining, and you start sharing whatever resentment you have with everybody else, and negatively influence or affecting their experience of work. Because other people might be super happy, they might be super content, but because you're going through a hard time and you're not enjoying it, every time they see you in the lunchroom, every time they see you at the coffee machine, every time you pass by each other in the toilet, every time you're talking on Slack, talking on Teams, you're just complaining. The best thing to do in that situation, if you don't like it so much, go somewhere else. Go elsewhere. Take yourself out of that position, because you're also not going to do your best work anyway. You also, if you stay long enough while you're pissed off and angry, you might end up getting yourself fired. That happens too. So you're better off removing yourself from that equation, removing yourself from that scene, because it's not aligning with you in that moment, and then doing other things, as opposed to just staying there and fucking stinking up the place. Especially if you're not being compensated fairly and you feel like your worth is not being respected in that way, shape or form. But credit to Stephen A. Smith though. Credit to Stephen A. Smith. That motherfucker is going to outlast everybody at that station, at that, everybody at that network. It seems like he has a really good way of working in that industry. He's got the right connections, relationships with people. And I think as a black person, it's kind of inspiring, because I've never really been that person. I think part of the reason why I never kind of made it or kind of got myself a good, quote unquote, cool job within like the street fashion, design industry kind of scene, was because I was very combative. I was kind of on my own sort of thing. I wouldn't say argue, but I'd kind of ask questions and talk back a lot. I didn't really know how to respect the chain of command too much. I tried to outshine the master, which you're never meant to do. Right before I fought weird 48 laws of power, like I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I feel like a lot of the mistakes that I made was just not being able to know, because it's a skill you learn over time as well, how to work with people, especially the upper management. Like, because I bet you there's some people in ESPN who Stephen A. Smith knows more than, who Stephen A. Smith could take their job, but he probably acts very, he defers to them, he defers to them. He probably acts like he's none the wise. He probably acts like he's not informed on certain topics when he speaks to them. He's not always trying to prove that he's the smartest person in the room. He lets them have space to talk. You know what I mean? You have to kind of know how to play that game. It's really hard to do, especially when you think you're like someone. Especially when I was younger, you think you're someone, you think you've made it, you think you know everything. So it's hard to kind of play that role of like sitting back, letting the other person, assert or have their position, especially if they've got a position of power, leadership. So yeah, something that I could definitely think should be a lesson to all out there. No matter what you think of Stephen A. Smith as a person, I think as a minority, as a black person, being in that kind of level of a job in media, having the kind of pull that he has, making the kind of money that he has, I think is a testament to how he's able to play the game. And that's really important in business, really important in employment, really important in all shapes, in all kind of walks of life, knowing how to kind of play the game correctly. So big up Stephen A. Smith, and Godspeed to Molly Qerim. But Godspeed to Molly Qerim. Moving on, I want to talk about this, right? Big up this girl. Big up this girl. So this is a random clip that I saw online, right, of this girl who's talking about how she purposely pulled away from the alternative black indie scene, whatever, right, that exists out there, and mostly because she felt like the alternative scene that includes rap, metal, hardcore, whatever, for some reason attracts a lot of dudes that are into like younger girls. And this is a topic that's kind of been spoken about more because of that David situation, right? That tragic David situation where the girl that he was dating, allegedly 15 years old, her body was found in his car that was abandoned in some like impound somewhere, right? And now they're basically uncovering a lot of things, a lot of really sketchy things around their relationship. Somebody left a comment on one of the videos that I made, actually a clip. Someone left a comment saying that there's a story now that's alleging that maybe this David guy met that girl, that young girl, Celeste Rivas, RP to her, when she was 11 years old or something crazy like that. But yeah, really crazy and sad situation. But a lot of people have been talking about it and saying that this is not uncommon within obviously the way she died was tragic, and very uncommon and very rare. But just in terms of the age gap sort of thing, and guys dealing with younger girls. This is very common within the indie or alternative world scene. So this girl kind of speaks a little bit about why she purposely removed herself from that scene and why it's so toxic and dangerous for young girls.
Okay, so the timeline looks crazy this week. Between the Grover shit and the Dave shit, I'm gonna tell women one thing right now. It's so okay to profile men. It is. Don't be scared, because I know women, they want to be so, like, forgiving. They want to give everyone a chance. We're kind of conditioned to, you know, like, try and be there for everybody. No. Absolutely the fuck not. It is so okay to profile men. And let me tell you one thing right now. I was just talking about this on my friends, on my close friends, like a little while ago, about why I stopped being emo, or why I stopped presenting that way, at least, because I still enjoy, like, emo subculture. I still love metal. I still love grunge. But, like, the reason I really calmed my look down was because the space is full of fucking weirdos. The underground space. Name one underground rapper who hasn't got caught texting a kid. I don't even like saying the word minor. Tell me one underground rapper that hasn't got caught talking to a kid.
That's very true. That's very true. And you know what this underground scene reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of like the Warp scene, the Warp Tour scene. There was a time, and the band I can think about now is like Cancer Bats. I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about. But there was a time when that band was really popular. That era was when there was a lot of, like, you know, rumors of certain people within certain bands dating really younger girls. Most of them were, you know, were obviously groupies and shit, but that was a thing that was, you know, persistent in that scene at that time. I think it doesn't exist anymore as much, maybe because they've all spread out and went certain places, and obviously the girls have grown up, but that was a big part of that scene, a big part of that scene. Just really sad, really sad, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie.
Beating their girlfriend, you know, like some weird shit. And it's like, you can tell the SoundCloud picture when they upload their music. It be a bitch and she be bloody. It be women with guns to their mouth. It be all this weird edgy shit. And I get it, everybody wants to be cool and shit. No.
Big up Asada Z's. To attribute that to indie or underground scene is dumb, though. There are weirdos in every subgenre. Yeah, they are weirdos in every subgenre, but I think there are way more in certain genres. Let's just be fair. I've been to a lot of underground shows. I've been to a lot of alternative shows and stuff, and there is a thing around whatever. For some reason, young girls get drawn to that scene anyway. Especially girls and kids, or just guys and girls in general, probably shouldn't be at those shows. Definitely underage people with fake IDs. But there definitely is an acceptance, a weird thing going on with older guys going out, seeking out these young girls, hooking up with them, knowing full well they're underage. That's the thing. And I think it happens more often in the underground scenes. The more small, the more niche it is, the more often it happens, in my personal experience. It happens everywhere, I'm sure, but there's definitely a thing with the underground. Not too sure why, but it definitely is.
Cause now I'm the friend that's too woke. No, that shit is not fucking cool at all. And let me tell you one thing. As soon as I stopped, like, presenting a certain way, like, I feel like, yeah, I'm still pierced, but, like, I'm not super alternative how I was, is really because, you know, I don't want to track that type, but it's also, like, stepping back has made me realize how weird the men really are. Like, once I started talking to conventional, like, chads, I guess you would call it in incel language, like, men with lives who interact with people and stuff like that.
Men with lives who interact with people are referred to as chads. Incel language. What the fuck does incel language mean? Incel language is hilarious.
I start to look back at the guys I used to talk to, and I'm like, that's really fucking weird. Yeah, so if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So if he's into gore, he's performative as fuck, and he's always trying to get women to trust him by doing shit like liking Hello Kitty, kind of how Dave did, all this weird shit. It's okay to trust your gut, and it's okay to just tell a man off rip, no, I think you're fucking weird, no.
You know what's really funny about the performative male? I'm sure most of you guys have heard about this, right? There's this meme going around of these it's mostly Gen Z kids, but it's happened before, back in the day, even when hipsters were around. There's this thing called performative male, which is essentially young dudes going out of their way to walk around with like feminist literature books, walking around with certain tote bags of certain brands, being into artists like Clyro and BWD, what's her name? Whatever her name is, BWD, or like Charlie XCX and shit, right? And doing that for the sole purpose of attracting women, like, and trying to make themselves appear safe. Like, oh, I'm not like a regular, you know, heteronormative kind of like straight guy. I've got a little bit of, you know, sass about me. So to make them a bit more, you know, easier or palatable for girls to enjoy, whatever it may be. But you know what's really funny about the performative male? Isn't it funny that for whatever reason, girls seem to get easily conned by performative males, but other males know Wagwan. We know what the game is. We know what they're doing, right? Men know what other men are doing. We know that this guy is only doing this. He's only pretending to be into Hello Kitty. He's only pretending to be into fucking Sally. He's only pretending to read Sally Rooney books because he wants to fuck you. But for some weird reason, women don't understand that part, and they believe the performative male and think, oh no, he's actually a male feminist. He actually believes these things. He's actually an ally. It's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. He's probably the worst. Performative males, in my experience, performative males are probably way more toxic than your average toxic fucking Andrew Tate loving kind of dude guy. They're way more toxic because they pretend to be something, and then, you know, in the private they're talking all sorts of madness. But I do find it interesting how fucking often performative
powerful
males
bunch
end up being known allies. Big up Saddles.
She's changed me. I'm ripping off my Destroy Only poster RN, deleting all my 9 Viscous and Lil Uzi leaks, grabbing my Matra and heading to the coffee shop.
Big up Saddles, yeah. All it took was a couple more minutes, isn't it? All it took was a couple more seconds, and suddenly now she's speaking a lot of sense, isn't it? She's talking a lot of sense. Big up Saddles.
Tell them, bitch. I tell them. I wish an alternative man would try to talk to me. I feel like any men in any creative space, because like creative spaces not breed. I feel like men are already like that, and then they join creative spaces because we give so much attention to like outcasted people and all that shit. But like, I'm really starting to think, bitch, it's a reason you're outcasted. You're fucking weird. Like, even when I was emo, I could still go outside and talk to the average person and not have this weird complex about how I'm so cool and they're so not. Like, yeah. So profile that man. If he looks weird, you don't have to fucking talk to him. You don't have to find out anything about him. Whole time they be telling you who they are off rip, and you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. No, fuck him, because women die every day. So bitch, play for your own team. That's it.
Yeah, fair play. She makes a lot of good points there. And then carrying on from that, we've got this update courtesy of Los Angeles Times regarding the David situation and the body that was found in his car, which has been identified as Celeste Rivas. This is a headline courtesy of Los Angeles Times. It says Celeste Rivas went missing a year ago. Her decomposing body was found in singer David's Tesla. Just giving you an overview of the case. That's the singer David, whose Tesla is at the center of this whole controversy. It says the article says here, the mystery deepened this week surrounding the case of a girl whose decomposing body was found in an abandoned Tesla registered to singer David. The discovery made national headlines earlier this month. On Wednesday, authorities identified the girl as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, an Inland Empire resident who was reported missing in April 2024. Many things remain unclear, including why the Tesla was found in the street and impounded, and how the girl came to be inside. The cause of death has not yet been released, but her death is considered homicide. It is also unclear what connection, if any, the singer had to the girl. Los Angeles Police Department investigators are examining photos as part of a wider investigation. Rivas' whereabouts. They're examining her ties to the singer. There are no persons of interest at the point because Rivas' death has not yet been ruled a homicide. That's a Tesla, right? I'm assuming that's a Tesla where her body was found. And it's in the trunk as well, right? So it must be this one here, I'm assuming. Or is it the trunk or the frunk? The trunk is that one. That's the frunk. I'm not too sure which one it was found in, but it's found in the Tesla. In the trunk. So it's found in the back. The police are investigating. David is cooperating. Representative for the 20-year-old singer, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, did not respond to request of comment. Two law enforcement sources told the Times that investigators are trying to determine Rivas' movements before her body was found. They're looking for photos posted online, trying to determine if there's any connection between Rivas and David, said the sources, who spoke with the condition of anonymity because there was no authorized to speak to publicly. Investigators served the warrant in the home of Los Angeles Hills on Wednesday, where the singer lived, the sources have added. How was she discovered? According to police, Rivas' severely decomposed body. I'm assuming. I wonder if it was severely decomposed too because it was out in that LA heat, right? A body in that LA heat and in a trunk. You'd imagine, right? The temperatures, the humidity in there. Fucking hell. Was found in a vehicle in Hollywood in tow on September 8th after it was impounded. Someone noticed a foul odor coming from the vehicle, and detectives arrived at the tow yard to investigate. Law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation but authorized to discuss the case publicly told Times the vehicle was abandoned on Hollywood Hills 5 days before it was impounded. Detectives were served a search warrant Wednesday evening at the home of the upscale neighborhood of Doney Drive, north of Sunset Boulevard. Law enforcement sources with knowledge of the case but not authorized to speak publicly said the detectives received various items, including electronics and computers. The science detectives are also trying to retrace her final days. That's the area. Who's the girl? Los Angeles medical examiner determined the remains were of Rivas, who was reported missing on April the 5th. Now, the fifth missing, April 5th, 2024, they're saying online that she wasn't missing technically. Like, she was a runaway, but she was in touch with somebody that was in touch with her family to check in and let them know that she was safe. But she was a runaway because she had a bit of a tumultuous family life. So that was the situation. So she wasn't missing for a year, but she was on around, you know. Let's go here. The medical examiner said Rivas had a tattoo on her right index finger that said shh. The woman who identified herself as a mother contacted the publication TMZ, said she believed the body of their daughter was recently. So Rivas also was wearing a tube top and a small black leggings when her body was found. According to medical examiner, she had wavy black hair, metal stud earring, and yellow metal chain bracelet. The descendant was found severely decomposed inside the vehicle. She appears to have been deceased inside the vehicle for an extended period of time before being found. Hold on, what? She said but deceased. What are they saying? Are they saying she died? Are they saying that she was alive but then she died in the vehicle? Or was she dead before she went into the vehicle? She appears to have been deceased inside the vehicle. Okay, I think they said she was dead in the vehicle. Okay, cool. Giselle Vera, who identified herself as relative of Celeste and had co-founded a GoFundMe page to raise money for the funeral, said the family had no immediate comment on the case. Rivas' family could not be reached for comment. They did not answer the door of their home. Let's go there. What about David? As questions around the case swelled online, authorities have stressed that Burke, who staged in his Davis, a billboard, is cooperating with investigators. Representative of the musician did not respond to requests for comment. Burke was raised in Houston and collaborated with music like Kali Uchis, Stray Kids, Eugene and Luffy, and 21 Savage. He's also created an anthem for the game Fortnite. Burke has been on a national tour promoting his debut album Withered since early August. He performed in Boston, Montreal, Toronto in late August, and in September he has stopped in Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis. The US leg of his tour is slated to end in Los Angeles in September. The national tour promoter Golden Voice has not responded to requests for comment. But from what I've known recently, he's cancelled his tour. I'm pretty sure. I think the latest update on that is that his tour has been cancelled. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, but the latest update I remember seeing, the tour was cancelled. Yeah, there you go, see? Tour's been cancelled. Singer cancels US tour, European dates as well. So let's go to this Al Jazeera update here. It says, latest update a day ago. What does it say here? Bear with me a second. It says the United States singer David Anthony Burke, known for his stage name David, appears to have cancelled the remaining stops of his US and European tour amid a growing fallout of the investigation into the decomposing body of a missing teenager found in the boot of a car. Ticketmaster, which issues the tickets for the artist worldwide, said that there are no up-and-coming concerts in the United States for the artist in this October. European tour is cancelled on Sunday. David, whose popularity grew on TikTok, has built a large following the years. So yeah. So his tour's been cancelled as of we know it. What else it says here? Withered World Tour includes themes of death and remembrance. Fans entering Berkshire are greeted with a casket and a guest book where they can pay condolences to a character Burke sometimes reprises in his performances and music videos. Part of that character's uniform includes a shirt covered in bloody handprints and a blindfold. Withered was released in the Dark Room and Interscope Records in April. The album charted number 13 on the Billboard 200. So yeah, a lot of death memes and things that he puts into his fucking stuff. And then the latest update is that courtesy of Los Angeles Times, it says here, she deserves justice. Celeste Rivas' hometown mourns sweet child found dead in singer's car. The more than 75 miles from the Tony Hollywood Hills neighborhood where teenager Celeste Rivas Hernandez decomposed body was found, David sits the modest Inland Empire community, Lake Elsinore, where she lived with her family. Residents and acquaintances of the teenager that are following the case with mixture of heartbreak and anger as details emerge that she knew the multi-platinum singer whose real name is David Anthony Burke. She deserves justice. The resident Resident Ruby Alonso said, "It's just so sad. Alonso's son is around the same age as Celeste. She met the girl's family when Celeste was in kindergarten and remained friends with her family. She was studious, a hard worker, and intelligent," said Alonso. Celeste was reported missing 2024 from the Island Empire, according to authorities, but her whereabouts since the remaining a mystery, though her name initially listed as Celeste Rivas, which the county medical officers, it has been updated to with her Hernandez surname. Celeste's body has been found in the vehicle Hollywood Toll, December 8th. Although the medical examiner listed Celeste's age as 15 at the time, her body is discovered in a Tesla the day after her birthday. Los Angeles officials have described the body as severely decomposed, suggesting she died while she was still 14. Fucking hell. The police said the car was towed in the area. It's unclear if the girl died or how long her body was in her trunk. The car had a Texas license plate where in the bag, and according to law enforcement, what was that? And according to law enforcement sources, Celeste's family could not be reached for comment. On Sunday, mourners held an impromptu vigil outside the home with votive candles and pictures of the teen. In a statement to the Times, officials of the school district said they were heartbroken when the student had been attended transitional kindergarten through 7th grade that the district had died. Fucking hell. In February, missing persons posted a blanket the streets where Celeste lived with her family. It was one of the first times neighborhood records seeing the girl's face on the poster, but it wouldn't be the last time she was reported missing. "I recognize her because of her big curly hair," says neighbor Kaylee Cortez. "I would see her walking with her backpack on her way to school." The teen was reported missing on Valentine's Day 2024 when she was 13. The Riverside County Sheriff Department confirmed Celeste was reportedly missing last year, but did not provide any additional information. It is unclear how many times the teen is reported missing or how many times that she's been returned home by her family by authorities. Just after 7 a.m. on March 19th, 2024, a young girl walked down the street in a dark sweater and light pants, according to the surveillance video by Delagos Spirits, which is Celeste's neighborhood. Celeste's family asked store owner Eli Nada for the video. He sent it to them, confident that the girl on the video was Celeste. He believed that she got into a vehicle down the street from the store, but he could not make out the car details. She walked out of frame on the video. He said that the police had not contacted him for the video. Jesus. The team regularly stopped by the corner store on the way to the nearby bus stop. She was going to school with other kids. She would stop by all the time, Nadav said. She would get tacky, soda, maybe candy. She was always so quiet, shy, just a sweet child, he says. "I feel a connection to the community. It's just so heartbreaking to see it happen." Cess attended Lakeland Village School in Lake Elsinore, roughly 76 miles from Los Angeles. Then her body was found in a Tesla in Hollywood. The quote, "I got goosebumps when I heard about what happened to her. When they found her in the car," Cortez says, "it was just horrible." Cess returned to Lake Elsinore last year, said Alonso, the family friend, that she could not recall specific dates. She said that on this occasion, Celeste come home by herself and another time with the police. Authorities have said that Burke, 20, was initially cooperating with investigators when the news broke and the body was found in a registered vehicle. It's unclear whether he remained cooperative after the medical examiner officially identified it as Celeste. Law enforcement forces say Burke has since retained a lawyer. So yeah, looking crazy. There was also another story. I'm not sure some of you guys saw it. Did you guys see the other story? There was a story going around. I'm not sure if it's been verified though. There was a rumor or story going around that they found a body. They found the body of like an infant or something, like remains of like a newborn baby. But I don't think that's true though. Someone said that online. I don't think that's been verified, but I did remember seeing that rumor around. I hope that's not true, because they're trying to suggest that she may have been pregnant or something like that. Bloody hell. Anyway, let's fucking go. Let's get into the main part of the story. We're about an hour in already. Let's stop waffling. Let's get into the main part of what we want to talk about here, which is the Duncan Trussell situation, right? So Duncan Trussell put out a video recently where he's kind of talking a little bit about the elephant graveyard situation, and I need to refresh myself because I don't really remember what Elephant Graveyard said about Duncan Trussell. But we're going to quickly watch a little bit of Elephant Graveyard and get a refresh on what exactly happened and why this is such controversy around the whole situation. But from what I can understand or remember, Elephant Graveyard made the connection that, you know, Duncan Trussell had obviously turned and become a little bit, you know, not what he used to be. There was also that connection with Peter Thiel and some other bits and pieces. So let's quickly check what's going on right now. So let's go. This is the Elephant Graveyard video, right? Big up Elephant Graveyard. You know where to find my guy. The title of the video is How Comedy Was Destroyed by an Anti-Reality Doomsday Cult. And let's see where he mentions Duncan Trussell, and we can kind of put together why Duncan Trussell's getting a lot of heat from this particular video. Let's go.
And with things that offer false certainty in place of honest doubt, religious faith, political partisanship, materialism, hollow spirituality, scientism, hustle cut culture, digital escapism, reactionary nostalgia, being a fat drunk idiot all the time.
Big up KP. AZ, did you see the slow Joe and the red leggings? Of course, brother, that's coming. That's why I got the red t-shirt on. It's coming. We're about to do a whole lot of zoom-ins on that red leggings. Big up KP.
Philosophical overthinking. Cultism and guru worship, or complete submission to authority. Sometimes all of the above.
Greetings to you, my friends.
It's me, here he is.
D. Trussell.
Take this guy, Duncan Trussell, for example. One of Joe's longtime friends.
Yep.
And a former advocate of radical honesty, truth-seeking, and psychedelic wisdom. Not long ago, he was the lone voice of reason in Joe's inner circle.
Indeed he was.
And the only guy to openly predict how Joe would be corrupted by powerful forces.
Yes, he did.
To exploit him for access to his far-reaching media platform.
People have decided you're one of the magnifying glasses focusing this beam of attention into the world. You have to watch out because people are gonna try to exploit you. That's the main thing, is people recognizing what you are, who have political agendas, will infiltrate your shit and then start blowing out their radioactivity into the world. And you have to wrestle with your identity. I worry about you, man.
He was well aware of these billion.
You know that comment, right, that he made to Joe? I think personally, Joe doesn't like that kind of thing, because I think Joe has it in his mind that if you call him out publicly on his podcast, or if you kind of say something, you know, that's somewhat critical of Joe, he has a feeling that if you're his friend, it's almost a form of you throwing him under the bus or kind of adding to the pylon, because he feels like if you say that, it kind of legitimizes what people say on the outside, and they're then going to use you as a reason to keep going at him. I think so, because I don't remember Duncan Trussell ever saying this again. That was the one and only time he said that to Rogan. He's never really brought it up again. So I wonder if maybe Rogan told him, hey, relax with the, you know what I mean? Relax with this. Relax, you know, tell me this in private, but don't do it on air, because people are going to get crazy and they're going to start, you know, sending you messages and going fucking nuts. I wonder.
Billionaire techno wizard freaks out there manipulating new media before it became too obvious to deny. He warned Joe about them being a danger over and over again.
we established they're these billionaires, and they live in these compounds.
Right.
And certainly people like Michael Hastings and other people, they get killed all the time. There's super powerful people who will use technology to kill people to have their own way. So that means that there is some group or series of groups of people that are doing like high.
When I say outside, big up PP Yummy, I mean like outside of Joe Rogan's inner circle. I feel like Joe Rogan's the type of person who doesn't really listen to anybody outside of his inner circle. If you're not in his inner circle, what you have to say doesn't hold any weight, doesn't hold any merit, and he doesn't really respect it. I don't think so. I think he kind of looks down on his commentators. He kind of looks down on his critics. He looks down on even his viewers. I don't think he really does respect or rate their opinion whatsoever, which is why he doesn't read comments. Because me personally, I feel the act of not reading comments is almost like you putting a middle finger up to your viewers and fans. You know, I get not reading every single comment, but not reading any, not having a like slight idea, a slight grip on of your own, of what's going on out there and what people think of you, especially your fans, or their opinions and stuff. Is a little bit arrogant. It's a little bit weird in my personal opinion. But that's how Rogan acts, I think, personally.
Really nefarious actions from places of power. We know that there is like truly a war to control the paradigm.
He was by all accounts an honest guy, and probably the only guy on that stupid podcast who would rather say what's true than just whatever the burgeoning comedy emperor wanted.
Yo, big up Gamebred. I bet he reads comments. I don't think he does, brother. I think Joe's so rattled now, I think we'd know it. We'd know and we'd hear it if he reads comments. I don't think he does. I don't think he actually does. I think what he says is true. Most likely young Jamie relays back whatever he needs to hear. Like if people are saying a lot of things, and they're really getting back at him, he'll kind of be aware of that. So in a way, he's sort of reading comments because young Jamie reads them and then relays them back to him. But I don't think he sits there on his phone scrolling the comments. I don't think so. I think if he did, we'd know. Because he'd react to it. He'd say something inadvertently in a rant. But I don't think he reads them. I think he purposely tries to ignore them so he can just keep, saying what he wants to say. It's a very one-way relationship, to be honest. To be fair, I think he stopped reading comments ever since he shut down the Joe Rogan forums back in the day. He had the Joe Rogan forums on his site that was, it was kind of like an early 4chan back in the day, full of a lot of conspiracies, but it was quite fun. I used to check it from time to time, and Joe shut it down because he didn't like the conversations that were being had there, conversations about him, other people. He kind of felt like it was getting a bit crazy, so he shut that down. So I think ever since he shut that down, I think his social media usage is mostly one way. He just posts stuff, He doesn't really engage, doesn't really do what normal people do on social media. He's not liking comments, he's not pinning comments, he's not replying to things, he just posts, and that's it. I think so. I think if he read comments, honestly, I think we'd know. I think it'd be way more obvious.
To hear. But those sorts of qualities are no longer welcome in the comedy czar's simulacrum. They're far too threatening.
Big up Mr. Steel Girl. Big up Mr. Steel Girl. Big up Mr. Steel Girl.
He's compromised.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Big up Mr. Steel Girl.
So once Joe migrated into his new reality, Duncan faced the hard choice of either embracing the absurd and maintaining his principles of honesty and truth, or committing a philosophical sui and joining Joe in his new reality in order to maintain connection to the comedy czar's.
By the way, when he says philosophical sui, what does that mean? Philosophical sui meaning. What does that mean? First, we must define the notion of philosophical. Oh, that's what it means. It's a non-TOS way. It's a TOS way of saying that word, essentially. When I hear sui, I think of this. When I think sui, I think of this. That's what I think of. When I think of sui, I think of that. That's what I think of. That's what I think when I think of sui. I guess I got it completely wrong. That's what I think of when I think of sui. Okay, fair play, fair fucking play. Where is it? There you go.
Sphere of influence. Oh, Tipahan.
Whatever's happening, you just have to make it a good thing. Anything that's happening to you can be converted into something either that's going to make you scared, self-destructive, rationalize your anger, rationalize your shitty decisions, or it can be used as a thing that completely converts you. Like at any given moment, you can shed your operating system. You could drop all of the hangups, all the weird shit at any moment connected to the great truth, the divine.
That was him 5 years ago. He's since followed through on this new guy conversion, so let's see how connected he is to that great truth. Ooh,
Oh
that divine.
no, oh
Let me
no.
ask you this, so what do you think about people who say that someone like Peter Thiel is the Antichrist?
Here's what's fascinating to me about accusing Peter Thiel of being the Antichrist.
Now, Peter Thiel, in case you didn't know this in advance, is one of the primary billionaire techno-wizards we mentioned earlier. With his immense wealth, Thiel wields massive
walks.
influence in politics,
Techno
media,
wizard.
and online information from behind
Look,
the
he
scenes.
walks.
He says cool stuff like
Alien.
freedom and democracy are actually not compatible. Pete's company, Palantir, is deeply embedded with the CIA, ICE, FBI, NSA, police, and the military-industrial complex, and promises to be the most powerful mass surveillance platform to ever exist. He subscribes to a philosophy that believes that civilization as we know it ought to be destroyed, and from its ashes,
We got PP Yummy. He don't want to read the comments, Bradley. He just want to keep doing his thing. I immediately heard Brendan's voice. Big up PP Yummy. I immediately heard Brendan's voice. Bradley. We don't read the comments. Which one to keep doing our thing? Bradley. He was so nervous, innit? He was so shook. He was so worried.
a new technocracy should arise, a new state run by a CEO king who wields absolute authority. Pete is part of this new military tech industrial complex, operating with little oversight while creating autonomous weapons and surveillance systems, and whose algorithms remain a complete mystery. He's a caricature of a villain, straight out of a comic book. But Pete is real, and the exact kind of nefarious, influential guy that Duncan used to warn everybody about just a few years ago. All right, back to Duncan. What's he saying about Pete?
Here's what's fascinating to me about accusing Peter Thiel of being the Antichrist.
Stuff. He's
I saw
very
him give
much.
a talk and awesome. And it was like totally normal dude, obviously super smart. There didn't feel like there was any kind of like subversive anything, nothing to really.
I forgot he mentioned that. He mentioned he went to go and see Peter Thiel talk. You know what? He's heavily compromising, isn't it? Jesus Christ. I went to go see him talk. There's nothing wrong with him, man. He's actually a kind of a cool guy, actually. Like, what?
Be scared of.
Depressing,
So people
man.
say that Peter Thiel is Antichrist, just for argument's sake.
Fucking says that.
You hear that? He's actually getting mad about this.
Argument's
Fucking says that.
The reason Dunk's got to do this is because the comedy czar is actually Pete's friend now. So he had to become a new guy to stay in Joe's circle of power. A shriveled
That's the really sad bit about Rogan. Because over the years, that's something you've realized about him. He's very intolerant. Before, one of the main things I used to like about Rogan, apart from his curiosity, right? This childlike curiosity that he had still as an adult, was the fact that he was quite tolerant. He had his own opinions. If you opposed it, then he didn't mind. Like back in the day, if you were anti-weed or anti-marijuana, he'd defend his points vigorously that he loved marijuana and its benefits. But you didn't feel like he would cut off his friends if they were anti-weed. But nowadays, I feel like if you do say you're anti-fucking weed, anti-marijuana, he would definitely not talk to you again, you know? Nowadays, if you probably say you're not a big fan of Elon, like if you imagine, if he's got friends that are very critical of Elon Musk, I'm pretty sure that would put a strain in their relationship because Rogan really thinks a lot of Elon. So that's the one bit that's kind of the most disappointing about the Rogan we have now. He's not very tolerant, you know? He's not very accepting of other people, of different points of view. He just has on people that kind of repeat what he wants to say, you know, kind of pat him on the back, suck his dick, echo chamber type shit. You know, it's really fucking sad, that part, because the Rogan for lack of a better term, and not to sound fucking gay, but the Rogan that I fell in love with was the guy that was super curious and open to loads of different things, you know, open to people's different opinions, different sort of perspectives, different sort of ideas, everything on that kind of a, you know, and then obviously presenting on his show. Now, it's all gone. It's all fucking gone.
husk of a guy, being fed by the demonic umbilical cord attached to the bowels of the comedy czar from which he can never disengage. He's cooked, Finished. And God, look at him. He's just not the same guy. Look in his eyes. It's obvious. Those are suey eyes. Well, that's a confirmed suey for Duncan. Rest in peace, man. Quel dommage. Well, once you've entered the Comedy Czar's comedy cult simulacrum, you're expected to do your part to uphold the pillars of this new reality. Upholding the pillars allows you to stay in the cult and potentially reap the rewards that come from its membership. These tenets bind the simulacrum together, and as we already explained, the more guys you've got upholding the pillars, the more stable the new reality becomes, which is vital because if the simulation crumbles, it's all over for this stupid experiment. All cults need their tenets, and the Austin comedy toilet cult, or whatever we're calling it, is no different.
So I think that's that's most of the Duncan Trussell situation, right? So that's where Elephant Graveyard called out Duncan Trussell for his turn, called out Duncan Trussell for not being the same guy, called out Duncan Trussell for essentially, becoming one of Joe Rogan's sycophants instead of the voice of reason, right? Before Duncan Trussell occupied rare air space like Ari Shafir, maybe even Shane Gillis and Mark Norman, people who kind of had different points of view, different opinion, and were willing to kind of, push back on Rogan when it comes to sharing them and shit. And it felt like he appreciated it. It did feel like Rogan appreciated having a friend like Duncan Trussell and his group of friends who was able, and I also feel like sometimes you brought Duncan Trussell on specifically for that point, like he's the voice of the viewers, of the commentators who probably feel like I've gone too far. Let me bring this guy in to kind of reel me back in. But over time, something happened and Rogan stopped really listening, stopped really caring for that sort of side of things, and maybe made it very clear to Duncan Trussell that, hey, it's my way or the highway. And for whatever reason, Duncan Trussell has acquiesced. So let's hear his reply. Duncan Trussell did reply regarding all this situation, and let's hear it. So this is the latest episode of the Duncan Trussell, Duncan Trussell Family Hour, episode number 710. Somebody did put some timestamps down below, so big up the person who shared the timestamps. I think it might be an AI thing. Yeah, there's some AI timestamps down here. So let's see. Let's go to this bit here. Let's go to this bit. Thoughts on Peter Thiel, because that's going to be that's going to be probably the start of him replying back to Elephant and Graveyard. Thoughts on Peter Thiel.
And so, in this clip that they used, I say I don't think Peter Thiel's the Antichrist, and I don't think Peter Thiel's the Antichrist. I also said, so I'll just summarize what's in that clip. I said,
old Duncan Trussell would have definitely thought Peter Thiel was Antichrist.
I went to that talk because I'd heard Peter Thiel was evil, and I wanted to see that. I think I heard he was Darth Vader. I wondered if the temperature in the room would drop a few degrees. And, I'm a very curious person. And so if there's a chance for me to be directly in the presence of somebody who is has been labeled as a very evil person, I want to see that. What's going on there? What are they like before the show starts? How do they talk to people? What's going on there? And in this video, I said what is my direct observation of the experience.
He even looks really shifty, innit? Not that I don't believe him, but just by his eyes and his demeanor, how he's moving his arms around. What's that phrase for it? What's it called? Gesticulation, right? Whatever he's doing right there. He just looks a little bit nervous. He looks like he's not convincing himself. He looks like he's fidgeting, I don't believe him. I just don't believe him. And I also feel like he knows how convenient it must appear. Rogan's a big fan of Peter Thiel, and then you go and see Peter Thiel talk, and you say you go there with this curiosity that you want to see if he really is evil, and you go there and you somehow get convinced that he's not. Seems convenient, isn't it? Because Rogan's a big fan of him, now all of a sudden you're a big fan. Seems oddly convenient. By the way, what is that phrase I'm looking for? Bear with me a second here. What is it? How do you say it? Gesticulation? That's the thing. That's right. Gesticulation, right? How do you say that word?
Gesticulate.
Gesticulate. Use gestures, especially dramatic ones, instead of talking to emphasize one's words. Yes, I think he's gesticulate lying. Let's see. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Gesticulating while lying can manifest in overly expressive and excessive hand and arm movements, possible attempt to compensate for a lack of sincerity or to overemphasize the lie. But this is not a definite sign of deceit and could also just be a person's usual behavior. Liars also show a lack of gestures or a closed-off posture, and other common signs like fidgeting, touching the face, or unusual head movements can appear. Observing a consistent deviation from the person's normal behavior is more reliable than relying on single gestures, as people have a unique signature. So yeah, that's what I think is going on right there.
Watching this, he didn't seem evil, and he seems smart, really smart, and I feel like I have like fundamental theological differences when it comes to his interpretation of the book of Revelations. Now, because I said
that's great. You have one pushback. You have one pushback against Peter Thiel, and that's his interpretation of the Holy Bible. Thanks.
That, and because this landed on this video, which in a broader sense, and I think a sort of satirical way, seems to be saying that I am part of a cabal of Austin comedians who are fascists, who are maybe trying to take over the federal government. And I think
no, it's calling you out for being somebody that once was the voice of reason within Joe Rogan's inner circle, and now you have just joined in the chorus of sycophants. You are now part of the fucking chorus of cheerleaders. You know what I mean? That's what it's calling out. Because one of the great things about listening to Duncan Trussell on Rogan was that it was one of the rare times where you got to hear Rogan being pushed back, Rogan being challenged, you know, Rogan being questioned about some of the beliefs he's been holding, about some of the turns he's been making, opinions over whatever. It was just interesting. Plus, he's just a good guest and they have a good chemistry. They're obviously close friends. But now he's just become one of those guys that just kind of, you know, sucks off Rogan like a Brendan Schaub type of person. It's just not as interesting anymore. And also, Duncan Trussell's obvious kind of move into the center, slightly to the right, has also been disappointing because, you know, you never even thought of him being overly political, really. And now he's clearly, you know, maybe from just a purely, you know, interest, philosophy, whatever, belief sort of system thing, you see him aligning more with Rogan's political point of view as opposed to how he was before. That's what the documentary, I think, or that segment was highlighting. I think it was less about him being a part of a cabal that's trying to bring down society, and more so people, you know, Elephant Graver just saying in his own words, he's disappointed that the Duncan Trussell that he liked is no more.
I think from my clip, the anonymous person said that, implied or said directly that, like,
Yo, big up Pity. Watch them back. He's always been terrible. What do you mean, Duncan Trussell on Joe Rogan? No, I think he was good, man. I think he was good. I think he was a breath of fresh air in the past. But then, to be fair, Rogan was also less like he is now. You know, Rogan was also not so co-opted by the far right as he is now. But Duncan back then was really, he was a real breath of fresh air when he used to appear on Rogan, especially when they had a bad, you know, like a shitty run of guests. Having Duncan on was like, hallelujah. Now, not so much.
Can't say things that go against what Rogan thinks, and like that I'm getting paid off by Peter Thiel or Palantir, which is not true at all.
Can you at least admit, though, you're not pushing back and you're not the same as you were when it comes to Rogan? Can you at least admit that? Is there going to be any acknowledgement that you are not as combative or disagreeable when it comes to Rogan as you were in the past? Can you just admit that?
At all. None of that's true. None of it's real. None of it's true. The idea that I'm censoring myself for fear of upsetting one of my best friends is just batshit.
One of your best friends also happens to be one of the most important people in media or in podcasting. Also was having one of the biggest platforms ever. That's also probably significantly helped your career. Of course, you're going to be... The fact that he's acting like it's not going to be in the back of your head is dumb. You're insulting everyone's intelligence. Of course it's going to be in the back of your head if you say certain things you might not appear on the show again. Let's be fair. Let's be honest. Let's be grown-ups.
Idea that maybe I have to run things by Rogan before I say them, batshit.
No one said that.
The idea that a technocrat oligarch is interested in infiltrating the podcast of a mid-level.
Oh no! Come on! Don't do this now. The Duncan Trussell, he's trying to dismiss any type of conspiracy theory that may relate to Peter Thiel's interest within the podcasting space, or within the commentary space in general. Come on, brother. Come on, bro.
Podcaster to disseminate ideas is batshit.
No, it's actually a really good idea. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't that be a good idea? Why would that be a batshit idea? That'd be a great way to actually reach people, to actually influence things, by having people like you, especially someone like a Duncan Trussell, who a lot of people thought was the voice of reason within Joe Rogan's inner circle. If he's now espousing or repeating the same talking points that Joe Rogan is, people are going to start thinking, oh shit, this is the way to go, because a person that I used to rate is now on that path. Maybe they know something I don't.
And I thought it was hilarious. I really did. When people started sending me DMs and stuff, the whole suey eyes, I've got suicidal eyes. When those things started coming in,
I wouldn't say you got suey eyes. I'd just say you're dead behind the eyes. That's what I would say. My interpretation wouldn't be he's got suey eyes. I feel like he's dead behind the eyes. I feel like whatever spark he used to have is gone. Maybe it's because of his marriage, because of his child. He's a grown up now. He's got big boy responsibilities, He's no longer the guy that's, living his quasi hippie life. He's still probably living it, but the way he was living before, isn't the same anymore. He's a grown up with responsibilities, with a house. So I'm assuming that changes things, but the sparkle and whatever has gone from his eyes. That's for sure. He kind of looks dead behind. Maybe he's medicated. I don't know. But he does look dead behind the eyes. Less so suey, more dead behind the eyes.
I legitimately thought it was funny. Creepy, but funny. And the reason I thought it was funny was because, my God, I was trying to imagine what that looks like.
Exactly, Ghostface. Ghostface is 94. No, Ghostface is 594. He's saying the exact opposite of what he said on Rogan. He said people will take advantage of Joe, LOL, and now he's saying that it's ridiculous. Exactly. It's ridiculous anyone would want to take advantage of Joe. It's ridiculous anyone would want to take advantage of Duncan Trussell and try to exploit his audience. That's impossible. Why would anyone want to do that? Then why did you say that? Big up, Mr. To Your Girl. Them night shift warehouse fellas need a voice of reason. Exactly.
Getting checks from Palantir, getting checks from Peter Thiel. I was trying to imagine a scenario.
Big up Micah Mills. Big up Micah Mills. Appreciate you.
We're in some serious phone call with Rogan. I'm like, Joe, I just wanted to say some things about Peter Thiel on my podcast. Just want to run it by you to make sure it's okay. If I did that, if I actually did that, I bet we probably wouldn't talk for a month. He would be so weirded out by me. And so looking at...
That's oddly specific. Did Joe ever not speak to you for a month before? Because you tried to run something by him before? Or tried to ask him something in private? Also, I don't think anyone said that you run things by Joe. That was more so a joke. Maybe that was a joke or something, but I don't remember Elephant Graveyard saying you run things by Joe. I think it was more so a sense of it feels like you just repeat what Joe says in your own words. Still hasn't dismissed that, by the way, or addressed that.
Something fundamentally incorrect, fundamentally wrong on every level. Which, by the way, if you've listened to my podcast for any amount of time, you should know that. If you've listened to my podcast for any amount of time, you know my feeling when it comes to war. You know what I've said on Rogan's podcast, this podcast. I've said it over and over again and weirdly gotten in trouble for that too. It's always bad, always wrong, always horrifying, terrible, bad, terrible, terrible. And me making a direct and honest observation about an experience that I had and then taking that direct...
Saying the word honest as well is a bit of a red flag for me. Direct and honest observation. Honest. Who you trying to convince here?
Direct and honest observation and spinning that in some way I've been compromised by the oligarchs, that I'm a bootlicker, fascist, Nazi, is bat shit crazy.
I definitely think you're a bootlicker. I wouldn't say you're a fascist or a Nazi, but I definitely think you're a bootlicker.
It just is. Now, again, all of this was very funny until a few days ago, Charlie Kirk got assassinated. And then it's...
Oh, come on, bro. Come on. Come on. Now he's going to be, oh, I'm afraid for my family's safety. Fuck off, bro. This happened way before Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Look at this. Clutching at straws. Look at this. This is pretty disgusting. I'm not going to lie. Now he's going to try and use what? The death of Charlie Kirk to somehow absolve him from having to address some of the, I think, warranted pushback and criticism he's been getting for his about turn recently. Now death of Charlie Kirk has made all those things null and mute because what, trolls are in my DMs threatening the lives of me and my family. Come on, bro. Come on. Elephant Red Graveyard video dropped way before fucking Charlie Kirk died. Dropped way before that. Come on. People have been questioning or asking you to, you know, people have been wondering why you changed and why it's... He's acting as if he doesn't see what he sees on his Reddit. He's on his Reddit. He posts on there all the time. He's acting like he doesn't see the conversation around him on the Reddit, where people are just saying, what's happened to fucking Duncan Trussell? Why has he changed? Why is he not the same person that he was before? Why does it feel like he's turning into Rogan? Why does it feel like he's agreeing way more with what Rogan has to say as opposed to the past? What's going on right now? Address that. Answer that question. It's not that deep. Instead of trying to like make everyone out to be, I don't know, what, trolls and haters. And now what? Oh, the death of Charlie Kirk is what affected me. That's like, come on, man.
Stop being funny and became just fucking creepy. And here's why. On top of those of you who have been like harassing me through my DMs and in my comments gleefully, on top.
And what does harassing you mean, by the way? Because I want to see what this harassment means. What does it mean by harassing? Does it mean that he's receiving comments from people that are asking him to kind of answer and reply back to Elephant Graveyard, that are demanding that he has a comment to make? Is that harassing? People that are questioning why he's changed. I want to see what he means by harassing. I feel like a lot of people who throw out this, oh, I'm getting harassed thing, it's mostly to just absolve themselves from any type of consequences, any type of explanation, any type of reply. You know, they're just like, I don't want to address it or acknowledge it or whatever, so I'm just going to say everyone out there is harassing me so I don't have to, because immediately I'm going to throw my fucking, I'm going to use my wife and my kid as a human meat shield so that everyone kind of lays off on me. It's like, come on, man, come on now. Unless there is actual loads of threats, then I obviously, you know, feel sorry for him, and I don't condone that. But if it's just people questioning and or asking very vociferously why you're like this now, I don't necessarily think that's the same thing, but I could be wrong.
On top of that, many of you have chosen to start attacking my wife because she's Christian. So that's that's a real fun thing when you're living with a very pregnant person who is making the bad decision of going online and reading comments written by people happily saying things like, Duncan's wife has controlled him, is changing him. Duncan's wife is the...
Isn't that just an honest observation from their point of view, though? You said you had an honest observation when you watched when you went to Peter Thiel's fucking talk. Why can't they have an honest observation that they think your wife may have negatively influenced you? It could be false. Who knows? We don't know your wife. But your fans could, because, you know, I'd imagine, like my fans, like my viewers, you know, you guys watch me more than I watch myself. So you probably notice things about me that I don't notice about myself. So most likely they've noticed things about Duncan Trussell's change, and some of them maybe made a connection, maybe incorrectly so, but it's still done because of what they've seen and heard, that the wife is at fault, that the wife could be the reason why. Now, is that not a nice thing to hear as a husband, as a man? Cool. But I wouldn't say that's harassment, you know? It's just people observing what they see online, what's been presented to them in front of their eyes. Unless it obviously steps to harassment, then it's different. But people just pointing out that there could be a connection, I don't think that's necessarily as bad as you're trying to make it seem as.
Reason that any of this stuff is happening. Attacking her faith attacking what she fully believes and then applying some distorted reality to that. And again, this is like the swarm. It's been insane. It's been crazy, the amount of people who've been doing this. And I think I would have let it go on forever, and I would have kept making pangolin videos just because it was so funny if there wasn't just this massive act of political violence that just happened.
So So he's trying to say that the comments he's receiving, asking him to explain himself or to reply back to the elephant graveyard, are paramount or are similar to what may have happened to Charlie Kirk, or is kind of going in the direction of political violence, and he's afraid that somebody might try to do something to him because he's now changed. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that, bro. This is a form of gaslighting. This is definitely a form of gaslighting. Do not do that. Do not do that. People are questioning why you've changed. You don't need to answer, but the reason why he's answering is because the voices have become louder since that elephant graveyard documentary. A lot of people have probably noticed now, oh yeah, shit, he has changed. Because people like myself, I don't necessarily watch Duncan Trussell's own podcast that much, but I do remember him being a quite good guest on the Joe Rogan Experience. And then obviously Elephant Graveyard's video reminded me just how good of a guest he was in the past, just how interesting it was, just how different, nice it was, to just pleasant it was to listen to him on there, because you're so used to listening to one type of voice, having somebody that sounds like him, that comes from a perspective that he does, was really good, but no more, I guess, no more.
And so then it just gets spooky. I got to go on the road, and thanks to many of you, before I go on the road, I have to like hug an upset pregnant person and try to make her understand that I'm not going to get shot. So,
this is incredibly dramatic, incredibly dramatic. People are questioning you, asking you to respond to the elephant graveyard. I think he did this himself, to be fair as well. Not gonna lie, that little troll satirical thing that he did, if you're so afraid for your life, why would you reply that way? That troll satirical kind of parody thing that he did, replying to elephant graveyard, probably pissed off a lot more people than it needed to. He either should have ignored it or just replied in a proper video, but he didn't. He took the piss, and then it came to kind of bite him in the ass a little bit.
Hopefully this response, though I doubt it'll do anything for some of you, hopefully some of you out there who have been picking up bits of information from this video or from other videos and using that to spin some kind of distorted reality, understand that, like, by participating in harassing people for saying something that you don't agree with, or even worse, for saying something that was taken out of context, not just from that podcast, but from all the podcasts I've ever done, spinning.
So everything is taken out of context. So you just can't explain your position. Everything is just taken out of context. Everyone else is wrong but you. He's sounding more and more at Rogan every day.
That into some crazy distortion that I'm compromised, that I'm getting paid, that I'm like have phone conversations with oligarchs is psycho, man.
Didn't he say, he went to Peter Thiel's show, didn't he say, oh, I wanted to see how he is before the show, how he acts with people? How do you see him before the show? Were you in a green room? Did you see him privately before the show started? So he's trying to act like him being on the phone to a quote-unquote oligarch is ridiculous. But you being at a show and shaking his hand before he went on stage isn't ridiculous. And
you should watch out. And I don't mean watch out because it's something I'm going to do. Other than this video, I hope I never have to do anything like this ever again in my life. But watch out, because this stuff is poison, man. And it's really sad to think that many of you have a genuine...
Elephant Graveyard is poison. Honestly, he didn't even do... Honestly, that wasn't even bad. That was just a really good summation, roundup of like where we're at, the state of things right now. Obviously done through like a sociological, philosophical lens, but mostly it was a pretty good way to kind of surmise and describe something, you know, generally that we all can kind of agree with. But he's taken it way too literal, and he's also gaslighting, and he's also not addressing the main point of this whole segment, was that people are saying Duncan Trussell's changed for the worse. Can you please speak to that? Can you please maybe explain why that's happened? Do you see that you changed? Do you kind of understand why people may think that way, or feel that way, think that way? Just, do you know what I mean? Come on, brother, come on.
Interest in making the world a better place. Many of you have a legitimate, genuine desire to see a more harmonious, beautiful world. And to imagine that your brain is being hijacked and that you're being directed to attack people who, again, my theory of podcasting from the get-go has always been just say whatever's on my mind, whatever it may be. That's what I've always done.
Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that pearl of wisdom we could have never found. We could have never fucking come across without you. Podcastings are for you to say what you feel. Thank you.
Like, I've been podcasting since, 2012. And all I would do is just ramble, you know, which is what I still do. Like, I guess what these solo episodes are, that used to be the opening monologue that I would do in front of the podcast. Now, the weird thing about doing this live is I can't edit it. But back in the day,
Well, record it then. Yeah, big up on Zaki. They keep using the term harassment as justification to dodge any inquiry, like Christy. No, exactly. Like, everything is harassment. There is no constructive criticism or feedback that comes back to them. Everything that doesn't agree with what you say is harassment, is trolling. Like, come on, bro. Come on. You don't have to address anything. You don't owe anybody an explanation. But if you're gonna explain, if you're gonna try to address things, address things. That's the thing. That's the thing that annoys me. More time, just don't address things and just leave it as it is. But if you're gonna go down the addressing route, address things. Don't insult our intelligence.
I would just like spend all this time trying to like come up with like a cool intro. Usually in that intro, I would say like whatever was on my mind. And back then, you know, what was on my mind is a little different than what's on my mind now. For those of you who've been with me since the beginning, some of you have, you've seen me go through testicular cancer, both of my parents dying, getting married, having kids. You've seen me go through like a lot of crazy shit. And
regular shit that all of us go through. No offense or anything, but
quite often, like I would say, like in those opening monologues, it would sound like I was giving some kind of advice, but really what I'd be doing is I would be kind of like saying things that I wanted myself to hear. And a lot of you really responded to that. You loved it, you know, like because, you know, I have like dealt with like endogenous depression, because I have had real suicide.
You guys used to like me before. What happened? Well, we're trying to tell you what happened. You're not addressing it, and you're not fucking trying to admit it. You're trying to say we're all fucking harassers and we're all trying to get you and we're all trying to hurt you and negatively and make your wife, your pregnant woman or whatever. What did he say? He could say wife, did he? He said something weird. We're trying to make your pregnant wife fucking upset. We're not. But he's wondering out loud here. You guys used to like me. What happened? Elephant Graveyard told you what happened.
It's like I've been suicidal like in the past, and have like really confronted that in my own life, and had realized like how horrific, unaddressed, unacknowledged depression is. I had to find a way to like communicate to the world, like, fuck, man, what am I gonna do? Here's what you.
This feels very manipulative. I'm not going to lie. This feels very, very manipulative. Why are you mentioning all this stuff now? This feels very manipulative.
Do, and it was me trying to give pep talks to myself. It sounded like I was talking to you, and I was, but I was also talking to myself. The point is, zero latency is what I was always going for. I didn't want to have to think about what I was saying. I didn't want there to be any kind of filter in between whatever was going on in my head and what I was saying to you guys. Pure honesty. That's all I ever wanted to do.
He said the word honesty again. Anyone that keeps repeating that word, most probably is lying, in my opinion. If you have to keep repeating and emphasizing how honest and how truthful you are, you're probably lying.
And that's what I did. And to me, one of the things that really sucks about some of these like accusations is that you're saying that I'm changing the way that what I'm saying isn't reflecting who I really am.
No. They're saying you used to be a better person before. Basically, putting it in layman's terms, you're a shittier person now. People don't like the version that you are now. They think the version that you were before was far better. They related a lot more to that version of you. They found that version of you more interesting. They laughed at that version of you way more, probably. You were a breath of fresh air within that circle of kind of, sycophants and, reply guys and dick suckers that Rogan surrounds himself with. You were the one voice of reason, it felt like. And now they feel like that is no longer the case.
And where it gets paradoxical is that if I started doing that, if I let this like weird harassment campaign from a bunch of people affect me and start...
He calling it harassment. There's none of it is like feedback. None of it is like difference of opinion. None of it is like constructive feedback. It's all just harassment. Everything is grouped under the umbrella of harassment. Jesus Christ, Duncan Trussell.
If I came out and said some horrific things about the people you would love me to say horrific things about, if I came out...
Wrong again. You would probably say horrific things about those people in the past. This version of you won't say it because, of your compromised nature. That's what people are basically saying.
Out of some kind of cowardly fear, like threw one of my best friends in the world under the bus just to appease you guys.
No one's asking you to throw Rogan under the bus. People are just trying to wonder, why does it seem like you align more with Rogan now than you ever did in the past? What happened to the fucking Duncan Trussell that most of us fell in love with? That was the one voice of reason within Joe Rogan's circle. I've said this same sentence again and again and again, but he refuses to address that one comment, which is the one obvious thing that came out of that Duncan Trussell, the Elephant Graveyard segment. That's the one thing that came out of it. To summarize it, why have you changed for the worst? Can you explain? If not, cool. But if you're going to explain, please explain. Don't gaslight us. Don't try and manipulate us. Don't try and dodge it by, labeling everybody as being a fucking hater or a troll or harasser. Please address the question. Or, what came out of it.
At that moment, I would cease being anything that I could look in the mirror and think was okay. At that moment, I would become a monster. I would become the very thing many of you are accusing me of. If you think, knowing my audience, if you think knowing like maybe the people who came here from the Midnight Gospel, that I have some financial gain or benefit from saying things that don't align with a specific worldview, which these days gets categorized as progressive or leftist or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you don't understand.
Powerful bunch.
Big up Aziz.
Damn Duncan. You really sold out for the surveillance bag. Turn to the dark side. This isn't what Charlie Christ Jesus Kirk would have wanted.
Charlie Christ Kirk. Charlie Christ. What? Charlie Christ Jesus Kirk is hilarious. Big up Aziz. He definitely wouldn't have wanted this.
There's no real benefit in articulating the way I feel right now, probably in the sense that just by saying I don't think this man that I've never met is the Antichrist has gotten death threats. People have sent me fucking death threats.
People feel very passionate about it though. I know maybe the death threats aren't great, but can you maybe at least acknowledge how passionately people feel about the Peter Thiel question and his ever-growing influence and power that he's asserting over the American people, of worldwide, especially with the companies he's invested in? You should be very worried. The old Duncan Trussell would be very worried about Peter Thiel, would be very suspicious of Peter Thiel, would be very suspicious, would be very would be leaning into the conspiracy, would be actually open to the idea of exploring, the many tentacles that Peter Thiel seems to have. Like, imagine, it's the same thing as Rogan. The old Joe Rogan wouldn't be friends with Peter Thiel. The old Joe Rogan would be freaked out by Peter Thiel and would be questioning things, would be wondering what the fuck's this guy's deal. But now, because they're in the warm bosom of the fucking oligarchs, they can't do that. Again, he doesn't find the irony, in the fact that, why don't you seem to disagree with, the same people that you probably would have disagreed with in the past anymore when it comes to Rogan? That's the question I want to know.
An anonymous video goes up online, and people have sent me death threats from this. So if you think that in some way I'm grifting for the right, that all of a sudden money's pouring into me from the fucking Heritage Foundation or Palantir or some other fucking massive corporation, you need to do some thanking, because that's not happening. But even worse, what you've accomplished is you've upset a pregnant person. So
no one gives a fuck though, really, innit? Like, respectfully, no one gives a fuck. It really isn't that deep. People are just upset that you seem to have changed for the worse, and they want to know why. That's it. They're making honest observations, like Duncan said, honest observations. Some are blaming the wife, some are blaming Rogan, some are blaming the fact that he's got kids, he has a family now, that he's changed, whatever. But it really is not that deep.
Congratulations. If that's what you were going for, if you wanted to freak out a very pregnant mom who's trying to like take care of like 3 kids while her husband goes on the fucking road, you did it.
What about everyone else in America who's being freaked out by Palantir? Freaked out by Peter Thiel, freaked out by how no one seems to be pushing back or questioning his influence on things, freaked out by the fact that Rogan seems to be his best friend. What about those people? You feel sorry for them?
Mission accomplished, if that was what you were going for. But the other thing is this: if somehow your goal in this was some weird form of intimidation or coercion, if you thought, like, if enough of you...
Intimidation. Honestly, this version of Duncan Trussell sucks so bad. His fans just merely trying to get through to him, trying to see what the deal is them trying to intimidate or bully him. Come on, Duncan, man. Come on. He's literally crying victim. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Powerful bunch.
We got Wingus. Appreciate you.
Another free speech samurai complaining about free speech. Kill surprise.
Exactly. Exactly. We got Wingus McDingus, man. This is so sad to see. So sad to hear, man. He's changed. He's really, really changed.
Suddenly started blowing up my DMs and my comments.
That's real violence, isn't it? That's real violence. DMs and comments going crazy. That's real violence. That's real scary violence. That.
Ridiculing me, attacking me, or doing all of the things that you've been doing, that was in any way, shape, or form going to affect what I say publicly. You're fucking crazy. Like, that's nuts. That's not going to work at all. That just doesn't work. And also, and this is the last thing I hope I ever have to say about this.
Yeah, right.
For those of you who are posting things along the lines of, oh my God, what's happened to him? He's not one of us anymore. He's changed. For those of you who are like, I'm out of here, man. I can't do this anymore. I don't want you here.
I think I understand that he's pissed off that his wife is getting thrown into this and accused of things. But I think the Duncan Trussell of old would have responded to those questions with a lot more love, with a lot more understanding, with a lot more gentleness. You know, he would have answered that question in the most Duncan Trussell way possible. It would have been really well answered. He would have spoken about growth. He would have spoken about reincarnation. He would have spoken about evolution, self-development. He would have really, really explained as best as he could why it appears that he's kind of changed his position on certain things. But now we just get that. Now we just get good. Yeah, I don't want to be your fans anymore. I don't want to play with you anyway. I'm taking my ball home. I mean, we're getting this like infantile throwing the toys out the pram. You know what I mean? Stomping his feet down on the ground type of thing, flailing all over the place attitude. That's a really sad thing about it. He gone now. He gone. He has no understanding, no way to kind of interpret at all how the regular person feels, about certain things. Zero. That's a real sad part about it. Real sad.
If you feel okay, like doing like harassing me, talking shit about my family publicly, speculating on like what my home life is like, what my relationship with my amazing...
You're a public figure, brother. You're a public figure / celebrity. This is gonna happen. Also, you live in America. You got that thing called free speech. As long as they're not trying to physically harm you, like, you just have to suck that shit up. Crying about it online, especially someone like Kim, he should know way better. He should know crying about stuff online ain't gonna save you. No way it's gonna probably make it worse.
Wife is like, if you like are calling yourself some kind of fan, but then you're also saying his wife is oh my God, I'm so disappointed. His wife is Christian. Oh my God, I'm so fucking, like, he's talking about Jesus. Oh my God, I just can't. If this is you and you're doing this publicly, just know that, like.
But what are you meant to do though? If you do it privately, he calls you an harasser. If you do it publicly, he tells you to go away and leave him alone. What's the option then? Privately, you're harassing him. Publicly, you're being foul. Leave me alone. Wow. Okay. Bumberatted.
Though you're not sending death threats or anything like that, you're part of a bigger momentum, which in the of which a tiny infinitesimally small percentage has already sent me death threats. Now, I don't know who made that fucking video, but I do have a feeling that your intent wasn't to get me killed by a...
Okay, relax, bro. We fucking lax. No one's gonna try and kill... Relax, bro. Relax. Fucking relax. This fucking guy, man. This fucking guy. Is that how much he wants to escape any form of... I don't know. He's willing to escape any... He's willing to avoid fucking... any type of accountability by just making it seem like people are trying to kill him. Like, what? Ay.
Psycho. Pretty sure. If it was, then who are you? And I would invite all of you who have in some way, shape, or form been influenced by this video or by whatever crazy shit you're seeing online to really ask yourself, if the conclusion is that I'm being paid by Palantir, that I am having to like censor myself for Rogan or anybody for that matter, if that's what you've gathered because of the influence of something you've seen online, you should really ask yourself if maybe like you're not diving deep enough into the media that you're consuming. You gotta really do your own research and use your own rational mind to try to make sense of reality as it is, not as someone else tells you it is.
No one needed anyone to tell them. People have been feeling the way they've been feeling about you, Duncan Trussell, way before that Elephant Graveyard video dropped. Way before. People have been feeling the same thing about the comedy scene out there in Austin, way before he posted anything about it. Way before. So why act brand new? Let's continue.
Because, man, one thing I think we all agree on in this world is we've got to de-escalate. Things have got to cool down somehow. And like, if I seem like angry, yeah, it does make me angry. It does make me angry. It does. It makes me angry that I have to comfort my wife.
Of course you do.
Because people have decided to believe that I'm being paid off by oligarchs. It does make me angry. And it is scary. If you wanted to scare me, yeah, I'm not going to lie, it's scary. But the main thing is it's not true. That's the saddest part of it. It's just not true.
Okay.
I don't think the path to the sort of harmonious reality that you're seeking is through intimidation, coercion, aggression, or lying. I just don't. And I don't care what the media is you're consuming. If that media is distorting reality, you got to ask yourself, who does this serve? What does this do? Most importantly, does this get us any closer to a more peaceful world? And if the answer to that is no, then why are you letting that into your head?
Why don't you ask your friend Rogan, who voted for Trump in the first place, who's now doing everything that he said he wouldn't do, and also starting wars and bombing countries? Why don't you ask him? He should have to acknowledge this sort of shit, right? He might get exclusive press briefings and stuff. Why don't you ask that person instead of asking others? Huh? Ask the one right close to you who probably would have more information than anyone would.
Like, why? Like, what's the good of that? Where does it get us? I don't think it gets us anywhere. So, listen, if you're upset, if you think I've become some kind of like any of the number of things that you've called me, I think the very best thing you could do, if you think this media, if my podcast, if this in some way is influenced by technocrats, oligarchs, or nefarious statist forces,
go away.
Then I think the best thing for you to do is turn it off. Tune out.
Don't address anything. If you don't like what I have to say, just fuck off. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. This fucking guy, man. This fucking guy. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. What else should we do? What should we do? So that's the roundup, right? That's the roundup. Duncan Trussell seems to have no idea, understanding why his fans are upset about his change. He doesn't seem willing to accept that he's changed. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong on his side of things, which is what it is. I think enough time has passed now. If you were a fan of Duncan Trussell in the past, this version of his kind of sucks now. So I think the best thing is to do, like he said, actually weird enough, because you're not going to get the answers you want anymore, is just move on. You're not going to get the answers you want. He's clearly demonized everybody. Everybody that criticizes him is an harasser. Everybody that questions him is a troll, doesn't have the best interest in heart. So let's just leave it. I mean, let's just leave it and go to the fucking meat and stuff, I guess. But yeah, big up Duncan Trussell, at least for responding. It took him 2 or 3 times, but he did eventually end up responding to the Elephant Graveyard. And big up the Elephant Graveyard once again. You are doing amazing work. Clearly, as you can see by all the chaos that man is causing the comedy scene. I fucking love it. Big up comedy enforcement. Big up Blood Clot comedy enforcement. Let's continue on. Quick little video here, courtesy of the All In podcast. All In podcast, guys, had a little bit of a tete-a-tete, had a little bit of a spat on there. And for once, Jason Calacanis, J-Cal, actually did the right thing. Stood up for himself a little bit, pushed back, and was for once the voice of reason. So big up J-Cal. He can be a bit of a knob. He's a little bit corny, a little bit cringe, right? He won't stop mentioning the fact that he invested in Uber early. But let's hear what they have to say on here. Really interesting little back and forth.
See that if you just look at the ratings, the reality is that these folks get a lot more attention than they actually deserve. I mean, it is an anemically sad audience approaching zero. 160,000 people watch Jimmy Kimmel Live. More people hate stream our show in one day on YouTube. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, so what are we talking about here? This is like the pimple of the pimple of the pimple of the dog's ass. So I think that people needed air cover to make a decision to cancel it today. And the reason why they wanted to cancel it today was if they didn't take this opportunity, they would have had to wait another year or two for his renewal to come up. And so I think that there was a economic motivation that was lingering for a long time before this happened. His show sucks. It's not very good. At a very basic social, cultural, economic reality, as these numbers demonstrate, many, many, many millions of Americans who had a choice every day to listen to this guy voted with their feet that this show sucked.
Let's move on.
I will, say I agree that they made a very simple decision that was economic, because these same networks, ABC and CBS, were more than happy when these shows were pulling in serious ratings and serious money back in, 3, 4, 5 years ago. They were doing much better, which shows you how cable has come apart over the last couple of years. In 2022, ABC signed Kimmel to 3 seasons, $45 million. 2023, CBS signed Colbert to a 3-year deal that'll be ending. And as you showed in that chart, it's been plummeting since then. Quick note, that's just for the very important 18 to 49 demographic. Obviously, they have a bunch of old boomers watching it on their cable channels. That's the discrepancy in those numbers.
Nobody watches this.
But I do have grave concerns over myself personally in what Brendan Carr is doing. I don't think the FCC
He didn't do anything.
Well, I can finish my sentence, maybe.
Okay.
Or you can just interrupt me every time I start a sentence.
Big up J Cal. Big up J Cal for once. Big up J Cal. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Go on, Jason Kalkanis. Get Shamat. Get Shamat.
We just talked about having civil discourse. Do you want to have civil discourse, or you want to just shoot me down?
I'm civilly telling you that he didn't do anything
in the first sentence.
Please go ahead.
I do have concerns over both how the administration is doing this. I think it's disgraceful. I didn't like the pressure they put CBS under to get Colbert canceled, and I don't like the pressure they're putting ABC News under. We should have a tradition of free speech, and comedians should be protected even if you don't like what they have to say. This is the exact opposite of what many folks and why they backed this administration was to have less censorship. And we sat here on this program for many years talking about Biden censoring COVID talk and Biden censoring social media and having the Twitter files, a direct line in there to cancel this. I think that this is
can I ask you a question?
Hold on, let me finish. It's a dark
moment
for this administration to be so obsessed with trying to silence their critics. And it's not going to work. It's only going to drive them to start podcasts and do more of it. Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Well, first, I'll make a statement. I think your comments are insane. But here's my question.
I think yours are sycophantic to Trump.
What did I say? I said he didn't do anything.
No, I think you're trying to suck up to Trump by saying it's a terrible show. He's not funny. None of that matters in terms of freedom of speech.
I'm trying to ask you a question. Do you think, because the government...
You called him a sycophant? Love it, love it, love it.
Did nothing. Let's just be clear. They did nothing.
They threatened him.
After he was already canned.
No, so not after. And they shouldn't be doing any pressure.
Okay,
the government should be staying out of it.
Okay, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think the people that made the decision to dump Kimmel, what percentage of it do you think was the economic reality of a busted show? And what percentage of it do you think was the impingement of free speech as you characterize it? What percent? How do you weigh these two things?
Absolutely. I think they would have let both of their contracts run out, renegotiate them with smaller dollar amounts, and reset the economics of those shows, if not for the pressure put on them by the 47th administration. I think they would have just rode these shows out till their next contracts went out, and then they would have renegotiated them at much lower amounts.
You think Trump is the reason why Colbert got canceled? What are you talking about?
I think that the pressure
this is like a whole mythology now that's been created.
Not a pathology. I think they wanted to get the Paramount deal through. No, I think getting the Paramount deal through, the sale of the Paramount, and I think they've settled a lot of these agreements because they don't want to get caught up
going away.
Well, that can all be true. Two things can be true at the same time.
Jon Stewart understands the medium, and he says it's a Blockbuster store. They can't wait to be rid of these guys. These guys are overpaid. They're entitled because they're grossly overpaid. They think they deserve this. By the way, free speech does not mean you have a right to an ABC show. Sorry. You actually have to be able to get ratings. You have to be talented. You have to be funny. which none of these guys are anymore. That's the reason they're getting canceled. And
exactly.
You know what they're talking about replacing Kimmel with? Not another late night performer. Celebrity Family Feud. Like they're going to replace it with a game show. That's what they're talking about replacing it with.
Great show, by the way.
Yeah.
Great show.
It's a more affordable show. They would not have canceled either of these folks if it wasn't from pressure from the administration. The FCC head basically said, we're going to do this one way or the other. So I believe that this is the kind of thing we don't want to see out of the Trump administration. And by the way, Tucker Carlson, Glenn Greenwald, and I are all in sync on this. We all think that this is a bad look for Trump and the Trump administration. You guys can disagree, but that's what we do here. We have several disagreements.
Where were all the people who are complaining at this when Gina Carano got fired?
Love it. Big up J. Cal for once. I don't watch All In anymore because it's turned into a little bit of a Trump tech talk. I now watch. There's a show actually. If you want to listen to tech news sort of stuff, I recommend you check out this channel. Is it TPN? I think it's TPN. Is it TPN News? They do like a daily stream where they talk about tech news and finance and stuff. It's really cool. It basically has replaced what All In Podcast used to be. What is it called? Is it TPN or TBN? I forgot what the name of it is. Oh, it's two guys that sit side by side. Is it TBN News? No, is it TBN? Oh, let me see. TBN News Palantir. Because they interviewed the guy from Palantir the other day, actually. What's it called again? Oh, no, it's TBPN. My bad. It's TBPN. If you're looking for something to watch, right? In terms of tech news, I recommend you check out this channel, TBPN, right? TBPN News. TVBN Live, that's the one. TVBN Live. Watch this channel. They do really good interviews, really good discussions. They do live streams every day, I think. No, live streams Monday to Friday, sorry. They do a live stream Monday to Friday where they usually just do a roundup of all the latest tech and finance news. So I recommend you check these guys out. And obviously they upload clips as well from their channel too. You can see Mark Zuckerberg on wearables, James Cameron. You got an interview with Wall Street Einstein, Peter Toshman. Loads of different interviews. You got the guy from the CEO from Palantir speaking there with them. You've got Dr. Drew interviews, talks about Labubu, the CEO of Mischief. So I recommend you check it out. It's a really cool channel. And that for me has replaced All In Podcast, because All In Podcast went to shit recently. Let's move on from there. Let's also talk a little bit about this slightly. Have you guys heard of this? You heard Jimmy Kimmel's back. Jimmy Kimmel's show to return after suspension over Charlie Kirk comments. They've reversed, they've changed things, they've gone back. Jimmy Kimmel is now back on air. Very, very short temporary suspension, temporary cancellation. Jimmy Kimmel will be back on air next week, Tuesday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So let's read the article here. It's at the BBC. It says US comedian Jimmy Kimmel will return to his late night talk show on Tuesday after he was suspended for making a joke relating to the death of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Disney, which owns a US broadcaster network that airs Jimmy Kimmel Live, said on Monday that it suspended the show because it felt some of its contents were ill-timed. We have spent the last few days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations we reached a decision to return the show on Tuesday. The comic's abrupt suspension came after threats by the federal TV regulators to revoke ABC's broadcast license, sparking a nationwide debate over free speech. The US President Donald Trump had welcomed Kimmel's suspension and suggested that some TV networks should have their licenses taken away for negative coverage of the president. That's legitimately the opposite of free speech, isn't it? If you guys speak mean about me, I don't want you on TV. No, if you have meanie comments, no TV. Like what? Sinclair, the largest ABC affiliate group in the US, said on Monday it will replace Jimmy Kimmel Live with news programming across its ABC affiliate stations from Tuesday. Discussions with ABC are ongoing and we will reevaluate the show's potential return. Sinclair previously called Kimmel's remarks inappropriate and deeply insensitive at a critical moment. They weren't that deep, really. He's making more of it than what it was. Nexstar Media, one of the biggest TV owners and one of the biggest owners of TV stations in the US, also said last week it would not air Kimmel's show for the foreseeable future. It has not yet commented on Kimmel's reinstatement. Critics and First Amendment advocates railed against ABC's decision last week as censorship and a violation of free speech. Kimmel, who has hosted the late-night TV program since 2003 and hosted 4 Oscar ceremonies, has not yet publicly addressed the suspension or the fallout. The row started after Kimmel said on his monologue on the 15th of September that the MAGA gang were desperately trying to characterize this as a kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and trying to score political points, which obviously wasn't true. He's not one of them. So it was a lie more so as an instance of joke. He also made fun of Trump's reaction to the influencer's murder, which was good to make fun of because it was pretty callous and weird. Showing a clip of the president responding to a question about how he was mourning by changing the subject to the construction of his White House ballroom. Kimmel compared the response to how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish. Exactly. Brendan Schaub, the Trump-appointed chair of broadcast regulator and Federal Communications Commission's FCC, threatened to act against ABC and its parent company Disney over Kimmel's remarks. The spat comes as Vice President J.D. Vance and other White House officials, allies have said they've been pushing for a national campaign to push anyone who has criticized, to punish anyone who's criticized Kirk in the wake of his death. So he's back on there. Hours after Carr made initial remarks about Kimmel's monologue, Nexstar would not air Kimmel show for the foreseeable future. Sinclair followed the suit, and ABC announced that it would indefinitely suspend the program. Mr. Carr thanked Nexstar for doing the right thing and said he hoped other broadcasters would follow. Nexstar is currently seeking FCC approval of his planned $6.2 billion, $4.5 billion, $6.2 billion, £4.5 billion merger with Tangana. Anna Gomez, a sole Democrat on the FCC, said on Monday that she was glad to see Disney find its courage in the face of clear government intimidation. Ms. Gomez also thanked Americans across the ideological spectrum who protested the blatant attempt to silence free speech. Yeah, allegedly a bunch of people cancelled their Disney subscriptions, isn't it? That's what also maybe affected this. That's what may have influenced the decision as well. Not that a lot of people have Disney. I'm not too sure if a lot of people do actually subscribe to Disney, but still, that was the conversation or narrative that was being spun. ABC's decision to suspend Kimmel was met with protests in California and lambasted by writers and actors guilds, lawmakers, and the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, alike, who argued that the suspension violates free speech rights and sprung a chilling effect. Kimmel's late night colleagues, including Jon Stewart, John Oliver, and CBS host Stephen Colbert, rallied behind him, and hundreds of celebrities and Hollywood creatives signed for a letter backing Kimmel. Wow. Ben Stiller, Jennifer Aniston, Meryl Streep, Robert De Niro are among all that called Kimmel's suspension a dark moment for the freedom of speech of our nation. They're also very known and very vocal Trump haters, isn't it? Especially Robert De Niro. He fucking hates Trump. Critics have also called for the cancellation of Disney Plus, Hulu, and other Disney-owned subscription services to cut into the entertainment conglomerates' bottom line over the decision to suspend Kimmel. I didn't know that many people like Kimmel, man. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know that many people like Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think it's to do with him. I think it's just a principle of, like, you know, shutting him up because he said something that went against the president or sounded mean. But I didn't know that many people liked him. So honestly, shocked. Big up him. He's got a bigger fan base than I really had assumed. Bigger fan base than I really had assumed. Let's move on from there and let's actually play a clip from Candace Owens, of all people, essentially calling out some of the same things that Jimmy Kimmel called out regarding Trump and his fake grief.
Jimmy Kimmel, because he has been pulled off air
Jimmy Kimmel
over his comments in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. So let's take a listen to what Jimmy Kimmel said on his show.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new
such a weirdo, man.
House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
Okay, so that's what he said. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you think it was a insensitive joke, okay, I don't think that would have been the justification for saying that he now needs to donate to charity and lose his whole life. And this is what happened. He's taken off air, and some people are saying, hey, Candace, they did this to us, and you're not wrong, right? If you are on the right and you are saying that when the whole George Floyd thing happened, people lost their jobs for saying sensible things or making a joke, you are correct. Like, you are right to say, yes, that absolutely did happen. But if you're not recognizing that when you just flip the coin, it's the same people that are gaining more power, I just want the attacks on free speech to stop, okay? I want the reaction, if you're angry about what Jimmy Kimmel said, is for the free markets to take him out, right? He doesn't have a show because nobody's watching him anymore because they're so disgusted by what he said. That's what I want. I want us to be in control, right, of where we spend our dollars, of what we're saying, and not like the government to press a button and say, you lose everything because we don't like what you said. And it should be noted, by the way, that in the same monologue, he did call the murder senseless. The day that it happened, Jimmy Kimmel posted a message on Instagram sending love to the Kirk family, to the victims of gun violence. He posted, instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it's horrible and monstrous to shoot another person? On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence. You wouldn't have thought that he had posted that in terms of everyone that were just like...
Sometimes the worst person you know can make a great point. Sometimes the worst person you know can make a great point. That's the truth. Let's move on. Let's cover some T-Fat K shit. T-Fat K shit. What have I missed out on here? What have I missed out on? Bear me a second. I'm just going to refresh the screen. What have I missed out on? Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Did I do this one? Did I do Food Truck Diary? Did I do that?
We flew him all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. He is the number 4 lightweight in the world. This dude has more fight options than a YouTuber.
Brendan randomly grabbing his wife's sunglasses was funny, innit, during this whole thing, no? No? Him just randomly grabbing his wife's sunglasses to record Food Truck Diaries. Funny guy, man. Funny fucking guy. This show had so much potential, man, I think. But he just didn't do it correctly. Didn't research, didn't ask really great questions. I thought the setup was a bit shitty, to be fair. I thought they could have made like a quasi-fake set on the street, because the whole point of Food Truck Diaries was to eat the food at the food truck. I didn't understand the point of grabbing the food from a food truck and then sitting in the studio. If it was me, I would have created like a fake outdoor set with a green screen, to kind of mirror how it is to be sitting outdoors, or just sit outdoors and let a fucking crowd gather around you or something as you're asking questions. I thought that would have been really cool. Instead, they just got the food truck to pull up at his sterile, very soulless, studio complex, and that was it. And they just took the film back in the studio. It was very, very strange, but what do I know?
Right now, he is the
boom mic. Is he ducking his head? Yeah, he ducks his head in it. He ducks his head underneath the boom mic.
Dude has more fight options than a YouTuber right now. He is the...
It's like he's doing a fucking freestyle, isn't it? In the booth freestyle session, isn't it? In the booth, like, it's like that, isn't it? In the booth freestyle session, like. He's like that. Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
Provided for a platform that, it's like you go to work, like, don't worry, we'll take care of it. So I go to the doctor, assume it's covered. They just never covered it. I recovered it.
Smashing that burger, innit?
I remember that fight.
He was hungry, innit? Who's that guy? He was hungry.
Yeah, you vaped, and that's one of the things I talked about. Like, hey, taking care, like, life, liberty, the pursuit of
Jesus, who's that guy? He needed that burger, didn't he?
You know what I mean? Like, life is your health. The fact that now a guy goes and he might have a tear or something that could be rehabbed, or
he's looking at everyone else. He's looking at everyone else's. Oh, he's doing that thing that you do, innit? When you eat with friends, you're double checking to see that you're not the one that's eating the fastest. You're like, oh shit, maybe I should slow down.
something that can be addressed while it's small. It's like, hey, let's go ahead and get you while you have a cold. Yeah. Well, right now, everybody waits until they have it the minute they sign with us. And they have the bout agreement, they're ready to fight. All right, cool. You can train now knowing that if you get rest the injury early enough, that maybe we can fix it. Maybe it's something we can go through. Yeah. So now we get a better fighter for both sides.
He enjoyed that. He enjoyed that, man.
Guys going there injured. I know that's dangerous. And then as a fan, even if you're just I'm happy about it because it brings us a lot of attention. You know, I get to fulfill a dream that I've talked about now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just you and him.
Well, no, he goes, but he'll go, and then I come.
Recording with your mouth full as well. Fucking hell, bro. This show is a mess, really, isn't it? So much potential, but such a mess. Talking with his mouth full. They're really chomping at the food as well. It's not like just a decoration. They're really hungry.
With him, you know what I mean?
Because you're training them too.
This is Brendan pre-Ozempic too, by the way. So he's got a strong appetite. Now with Ozempic, he doesn't eat that much, doesn't drink at all. But when he was not on Ozempic, he used to have a strong appetite. He'd eat everything. Everything that came his way, he'd eat it.
He goes, I got to train while we're there. So we and honest to God, he's obsessed with the shit. We were training, but we're also in Cabo, so kind of heels and stuff. So like in between.
anyone that doesn't believe he used Ozempic, you're lying to yourself, bro. This is a guy that likes to eat. You can tell by the way he's munching. This is a muncher. This is a eater. This is a big back boy. He's only as skinny as he is now because of Ozempic. I don't care what anyone says. He can lie as much as he wants. But I don't believe him in the slightest. He's definitely only skinny now because of Ozempic. I swear he is.
Rounds of us literally sparring on the deck. Yeah. Like, all right, cool. Rounds over with, we're drinking. Like,
that's a real eater. That he's eating. He's liking them. And you probably got something on the way back home too. That's a guy that likes to eat. Oh, fucking real. Food Truck Diaries, man. R.I.P. When was the last Food Truck Diaries, by the way? When was the last one filmed? When was the last Food Truck? I'm curious. When was the last one? Was it on Thick Boy? Food Truck Diaries. When was the last one? Okay, let's see. I'm curious to see when the last one was. When was the last ever Food Truck Diaries? How far back do you have to scroll to see the last ever Food Truck Diaries? How far back do you have to scroll? How far back do we have to scroll? How far back do we have to scroll for the last? Wow! The last ever Food Truck Diaries was 2 years ago. Cheeto Vera. That was the last one. 2 years ago. Damn, son. Damn. 2 years ago. Crazy. Big up on 10 toes. Maybe he lost weight because he doesn't eat as fast. Bless you to on 10 toes. Bless you thinking you could lose that amount of weight from just not eating fast. That's fucking hilarious. Bless you, bro. Bless you. He's just eating slowly. That's how he's probably lost 50 pounds, right? Or close to maybe 100 pounds even, judging by how he looks now. Bless you. What else we got here? Yeah, that's it, right? And Frank Mir, that's the one that we just saw. So that was the second to last one, the Frank Mir one. And then he had one with Cheeto Vera. Oh no, he had one Rampage Jackson too. Rampage Jackson and Cheeto Vera. But yeah, that's it. Shit. It's gone. It's gone. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Let's go back to the Reddit. Big up Chris Mack. I ate keto for 3 weeks, lost 20 pounds. Wasn't even very that fat. Yeah, the thing with Brendan though, he was really fat though. Do you know what I mean? We all saw him. He went from being really fat to really skinny really quickly, and he had that gaunt look about him. He did it correctly or clever because he carried on doing weight training. I think that's what helped him not look super skinny. But he did lose a look. He's kind of filled out a bit, but he did lose a considerable amount of weight in very short space of time. So that rapid of a weight loss drop for me is definitely as a plus of Ozempic, especially when we have a track record of a guy who doesn't really stick with, he doesn't really stick with he's not really good at sticking with diets. We have a track record of him failing diets, lying about his workouts, 5 a.m. runs exactly, and then suddenly he turns up and he's skinny again during the time when there's Ozempic around. Come on, bro. Not that hard. But again, he did it the right way. He did it the right way where he didn't look super gaunt, but he definitely did Ozempic. I think he kind of lies and says he did peptides instead to make it not sound like Ozempic. I think peptides are basically Ozempic, but no, he did Ozempic. I'm pretty sure of it. And so did his wife as well. His wife did it too. It's pretty clear too. His wife was on Ozempic as well. But they just lied and made it seem like they were doing the workouts. Papa told me to stop going to therapy and it worked.
Dude, I stopped seeing my therapist. I started taking Magic Mind. I went, oh, I can figure out all my problems with Magic Mind.
Well, because you got a sense of flow, didn't you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I saw clear and I thought, this therapist is full of shit.
Why you don't want the highest antioxidant?
The way he pronounces things, like why would you want him advertising the therapist? That like he talks like he's legitimately got his mouth full of fucking M&Ms in it or marbles or something. Like, how the fuck do you sound like that? Like, why does his mouth sound like that? It's pretty wild, isn't it? How he sounds so like he can't enunciate, pronounce what. It's just an interesting thing.
Dude, I stopped seeing my therapist. I started taking Magic Mind. I went, oh, I can figure out all my problems with Magic Mind.
Well, because you got a sense of flow, didn't you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I saw clear and I thought, this therapist is full of shit.
Why you don't want the highest antioxidant? You don't want this wonderful tincture that gives it's a nootropic that decreases stress, gives you mental clarity, huh? My friend was like, do you take that every day? I go, yes, I do.
Do I?
Yes, I really do.
The Magic Mind grift from these two is fucking embarrassing, especially Brian. I think Brian gets a bit more of a kickback. He's always like fucking jumping on the Magic Mind fucking thing. I think Brian definitely gets a lot of, I would imagine, definitely gets some sort of kickback from it because he's always going out of his way to mention Magic fucking Mind. But yeah, cool. That's that grift. Let's continue here. Baseball mum's at its fullest. Let's see this.
You have a gun?
Yo, big up Abe Martinez.
Mouth full of nuggles.
Exactly. I like the way that you I like the way how you wrote that, and it sounded like the pronunciation, right? Mouthful. Brilliant. Big up the baseball month, by the way, right? This is very appropriate, isn't it, right? This is very appropriate. Watching my son play baseball, but also look at my ass. Watching my son play baseball, but also look at my ass. Look, like, what? Like, what the fuck is she doing? What the fuck is she doing, eh? What the fuck is she doing? What the fuck is she doing? Interesting lady, man. Interesting lady. I guess, whatever works, isn't it? I guess whatever works for you. But it is an interesting habits, interesting behavior from a woman that's allegedly married. A married woman with 3 kids out here at the baseball field, first trapping essentially. That's what she's doing in a weird way, right? I know she can't avoid it. It's her bum. What's she gonna do? She can't exactly hide it. But it's like she's kind of first trapping. And who took the picture? Her mum. Like, your mum taking the first pic of you to put on Instagram to get likes. People can compliment your bum. Bit weird that. But hey, everyone's got their way of doing things. She feels comfortable in her own skin. She's trying to show off to people. She's not showing off. She's just taking a picture. Maybe it's no big deal to her. Who knows? But big up Slow Joe. We love to see it. Big up fucking Slow Joe. Let's continue on. How do you wear those jeans with balls? Your balls might hang out. Okay, we don't care about that. More decals than tools. Very true. Inside look at my garage and whips. More decals and tools. Hilarious, by the way. I still don't understand this like shop garage thing he's got going on. I don't get it. I don't get why you would. I do get it, because he doesn't have room in his actual garage in his house, sorry. Or maybe Slojo put her foot down and said, no, you're not going to put 17 cars in our driveway. I don't know. But I don't get the idea of like turning this podcast studio into majority a garage for the cars, because I'd imagine the Drive House All Gas content doesn't make him any money. Probably doesn't make him any money, really. The thing that keeps the lights on is T-Fat-K and Schaub Show. Those are the shows that keep the lights on. And look at, and from in terms of square footage and space, look how much space T-Fat-K occupies. Only that bit right there, that mezzanine. That's the only bit that T-Fat-K, everything else is taken up by cars. Surely it should be the other way around. Surely there should be more podcasting space than cars. But, you know, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, there it is right up there. There it is right up there, the mezzanine. That's where the magic happens. You see the Schaub Show sign there, T-Fat-K sign back there. That's where the magic happens. That's where the empire is built. There you go. There you go. So why did he buy this Dodge? He doesn't even drive it, does he? He hardly drives it. I think he doesn't drive it because it's got slick tires. But why did he buy it? Did he buy it just because it's limited edition? Because it's lime green? Because, you know, like, why did he actually buy it? Is it an investment? Is it something you can flip and resell later for more than when you purchase retail? Maybe, I don't know, but it seems odd. It seems odd that he bought that in the first place. Cool. Let's move on from that one. Oh, there's the red pants people talk about, isn't it? There's the red pants. There's the red pants. People asking for that. By the way, these leggings really love my... Yeah, oh, you think so? Jesus Christ. What the fuck is she doing, mate? Is she bored? Is Brendan not paying her much attention? What do you guys think? What's going on here? Is Brendan not paying her much attention? Is she just showing us what her mummy gave her? Is it not that big of a deal? What do you guys think in the stream chat? Has that been edited in fucking in what's that, Facetune? What do you guys think in the stream chat? What's going on here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Is something happened? Is she okay? Is this normal? People tell me in the stream chat, how comfortable would you be if your wife did this in the stream chat? If your wife did this, let alone the mother of your children, if your wife did this, if your wife was posting her chicas, her derriere on the internet like this for all to see, what would you have to say about it? Anything? What do you have anything to say? Yeah, it's definitely fake, Chris Mack. I think, to be fair to her though, I think she got a BBL early. I think she got one of those bad BBLs, the ones that make you look crazy. But then I think she got it removed. I think she got it. I think she got some removed, because a lot of women are starting to do. A lot of women are starting to remove some BBL shit to have it more European centric in terms of appeal and stuff. I forgot what the term is, but that's a trend that's happening now with a lot of women that got BBLs. They're dissolving it, taking it out, so it's not as crazy. So I think she always had a big bum anyway, but she probably got more because she wanted a BBL, and then she took some out, but then obviously that mass that was already in there, you know, made it whatever it made it. So I think it's a combination of real and fake. I'd say it's probably like, if I had to guess off the top of my head, I'd say it's probably like 60% fake, 40% real, if that makes any sense, you know? She's got some residual effects from the surgery that leave her with some shape and the crazy budum budum, but I think it's about 60% fake, 40% real. Yeah, exactly. No, but it doesn't work out. Exactly true. And plus as well, yeah, true. I was going to say, plus these pants are very special. These pants, I'm sure some of you guys have seen girls wear these. I'm sure some of you have seen them. They're very popular. These pants have this seam on the arse crack, and the shape of them, they're basically shaped to make your arse stick out more. It's almost like they got pockets where they kind of help lift your arse up, you know, instead of, if you got a arse that sags, it can help lift it up and keep it in shape. It kind of gives it a shape. So this essentially like is a bum glove, if that makes any sense, you know. It's got the little seam there, the little cinch that helps you to kind of accentuates things. So the leggings are a little bit of a trick, you know, a little bit of a trick, a little bit of a hack, a little bit of a cheat code But yeah, there she is, man. There's a Birkin in the background there, so in case you guys want to know what kind of budget it would cost for you to slide in them fucking leggings, you need to get her a Birkin. You need to have Birkin bag level money. Because she's a bit of a bird, isn't it, Lojo? You know, she's a bit of a bird, unfortunately. So I think if somebody else came through that had more money than Brendan, I think he'd be in trouble. That's the only problem. That's the only problem that Brendan has. Because I don't think Brendan pays that much attention. Right? Because he doesn't, I don't know. I get the feeling he doesn't really like her personality-wise, you know. I don't think they have a lot of good conversations. Let's just say that. So I think Brenda will be in trouble if I doubt someone will come along because she's like a mid-30s woman with like 3 kids. Yes, she looks hot, but I don't think a lot of dudes that have that kind of money to support her lifestyle will be into her. They're gonna get the younger version of her without the kids. But I think if a guy did come along that paid her some attention and had more money than Brendan, he'd be in real trouble. I think her head would get turned very quickly. If somebody took interest in her stories, was up for going to dinner with her all the time, because this girl wants to go dinner, she wants to go on vacations, but Brendan's, not the vacation dinner type of person. So she probably just stays at home and is a bit bored. But if somebody came along and showed her attention, took interest in her life, wanted to take her out shopping and shit, she would definitely be down. But you have to afford Birkin bag money. So be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. But big up Slojo. Let's continue here. What is this? Oh yeah, look at this. Look at someone said there. Dry fast. Someone did a scam detector on dryfastallgas.com. The scam detector website validator gives Dry Fast All Gas a low trust score on the platform, 28.5. It signals that the business could be defined by the following tags: risky, dubious, perilous or perilous. We are confident about our score as we also partner with other high-tech fraud prevention companies that found the same issues. So why this low score? We came up with 28.5 score based on the 53 aggregated factors. Dry fossil gas industry, the algorithm detected high risk activity related to phishing, spamming, and other factors noted in risky, dubious, perilous task above. Long story short, we recommend staying away from this website, but let's explain it in more detail. Fucking hell. How to report a scam to the FTC. Jesus Christ, man. The Reddit, they don't play. He's going to get reported to the FTC soon, it seems like. Jesus Christ. Bappa getting scammed out of 15 grand because of his community of tasty dishes. Let's play this.
Unravels his entire identity in order to admit this, but he literally hired hackers to try to take down the fucking subreddit for like $15,000. How could I make that up, right?
Yeah, big up the person who scammed him, man. Honestly, Brendan's a good mark, man. Big up the person that scammed him. Like, brilliant, isn't it? What a great scam. What a great scam. But like, lean into his, like, kind of take advantage of his paranoia and his anxiety around the T-Fat-K Reddit in the first place. Label the blame against somebody like Bobby Lee, who's connected to Kalila, who he hates, Chef's kiss. Whoever ran that scam, you are a genius. I'm hoping it's a Nigerian person. I'm hoping it's a black person. Hoping some Nigerian scammer was the one that was paying attention to everything and took advantage. But whoever it was who socially engineered that scam, who did that fucking hustle, who ran that play, you are a fucking legend. Let's say White House prediction. Cool. Let's switch over. Let's actually do. Where is he? Let's actually. Where the fuck is it? Bear with me a second here, people. Apologies. Cancelling. No. Where is it? Not Thick Boy. Where are ya? Where are ya? Oh, for fuck's sake. It's not here? Okay, cool. Bear me 1 second on here, people. Bear me 1 second as I load this up. Bear me 1 second on here. Where's the video? I don't find it. I don't know. Where are ya, you piece of shit? Are you there? Nope, nope. Okay, cool. Let's go back here then. Let's go back there. Pick up the stream chat. Pick up everybody watching. If you're watching, enjoy what you're seeing, please like the stream. Like the stream. Stop acting bougie. Like the stream. Like the stream. I'm not asking for anything more. Okay, like the stream. Like the stream. Of course, memberships will be great. Hit the target by the end of the 31 days. We've only got like what, 6 days left. So if you want to take part and give out a membership and shit, click the link in the description. Also click the link, click the little dollar icon in the chat to also gift memberships and shit. But if you cannot gift memberships or buy memberships right now, that's fine. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel. That's all I fucking ask, okay? Please, if you don't mind. Great, great, great. Let's roll on. Let's do a couple on here. Let's do a couple on here. Let's do one, yeah. Big up Unique. There's a couple new videos from Unique. Let's do a couple Unique videos. Unique took some clips from the 10 Minutes of Schaub Gringo Pappy 24-hour live stream, and he took some of the most interesting bits on there. So let's see what he clipped up and react to that. The first one is Mark Harley, aka BGL, exposes how Brendan Schaub cheats on his wife. So BGL is back at it once again, ragging on Brendan. Let's see what he has to say.
He didn't get mad at me. Brendan made this up.
Oh,
and what's funny
lie.
is,
Okay.
so this is, again, as I collect my evidence, one of the things is, it's like, I have to prove the hours that I claimed, which was like around the clock is what I really worked for. So
hold on, one sec. Let me get a drink. One sec. Got myself some ginger shots. You see that? Some ginger shots there. Some ginger shots. Keep myself alert. Let's go.
when Brendan started smearing me privately, like, I'm not super vindictive. You know, like, I just go, look, give me the
Press X for doubt. I'm not super vindictive. What? What? I'm not super vindictive. Press X for doubt. Come on, BGL. Come on.
fucking money you owe me, I'll walk away.
Right.
The only reason I even started, and I didn't start, like, I didn't leak his DMs. That was actually somebody else. Somebody who I sent them to, who was an interested party as like one of his long-term side pieces. But I was like, I intentionally tried to go, I'm going to focus on Brendan's.
Why is he sending side pieces DMs? That's a bit weird, isn't it? What's that part of the story?
Treatment of me as an employer, and that's it.
Sure.
In retaliation for, you didn't pay me like the severance or the additional things that I'm owed. And so now I feel justified in talking about this. People are like, oh, he's bitter. I didn't want to work there. Yeah. And Luana actually gets mad at me because she's like, you weren't fired. We sat in the car and we orchestrated this because he was berating you for like not, like, I told him I couldn't come in the morning, and he like gave me the biggest guilt trip imaginable, and I didn't even realize I'd been kicked off the thick boy payroll already. So he's like, because I got paid from theater and things, and I look back, I'm like, wait, I wasn't even on the payroll. How can I miss work if I'm not employed by you from this show, the Schaub show? But
oh, you spelled wrong, bud?
Hold on. I didn't want to work there, but he seemed, I don't know. Maybe, I guess when you fall out with your employer, you have a little bit of a resentment towards them and shit. Which I understand because I've been in that same position where you don't get paid, and I went on a mad one. I went on a mad one. I didn't get paid. Like, do you know what I mean? It got to a point of physical violence and shit. I was surprised I didn't get arrested. I'm not going to lie. it went really crazy. But again, I was owed a lot of money. I was owed like, I don't know, nearly like $5,000. And it came at the worst time possible. I think it was around Christmas too. The guy was doing dodgy business. I'd left a really good job to go to that company, so I was feeling extra pissy, extra tight. Yeah, I mean, I was really fucking mad. And I took it way too personally. Obviously, it was personal because it affected me, but I took it way too personally anyway. And I get it. But let's also be real. He enjoyed being Brendan's like muscle a little bit. We remember what he was like on the Reddit. Like, BJ needs to be honest. He did enjoy it. It turned sour very quickly, I'm sure, over time, because Brendan has that ability. He has that the opposite of a Midas touch, right? When it comes to his relationships and whatever else it may be, everything's turned sour at some point. But in the beginning, he did like it. He did enjoy it. He did fucking enjoy it. He used to rag on people on the fucking Reddit. He'd write fucking many fucking paragraphs about Brendan and about how he got it all wrong. He had a whole show on Thick Boy, right? What was it called again? What was his show called? He had a whole show that was, the premise behind it was like debunking haters and trolls and shit, going defending Brendan. So you did like it. He wasn't pretending. That wasn't an act. That wasn't some bit he was running. Do you know what I mean? He definitely enjoyed being Brendan's guy, or being in the circle, being a friend, having that whole community, whatever. But obviously it turned sour. But let's not rewrite history.
Easy. All right. Well, you're gone.
They just reached out to me. They were like, "Do you want to come on the show?" I wasn't even planning. That's the thing. It's like, again, to address Brendan recently on the Patreon. I don't know about this because Unique made a video. He called me obsessed.
Big up Unique.
With him, he like with his employees.
Oh.
He goes, "Yeah, he's obsessed with me. It's weird." And he goes, "I had to fire him because he had no skills." I was like, "Oh, that's the third."
To be fair, one part of that comment is true. He is kind of obsessed. Understandably so, because he had a bad falling out with the guy and it ended on a sour note. But I think the term obsession and the ferocity and the veracity of which he talks about Brendan, let's be fair. There is a little bit of an obsession thing going on there. It's good for us to watch and stuff and enjoy and kiki over. But I would say that part of it is true. Is he useless in terms of having no skill? Of course not, because Brendan had him as an integral part of the Thick Boy enterprise for a while. So he's not useless. He doesn't lack skills. Brendan was obviously just trying to be mean. But the term, or him describing him as being obsessive a bit, I think is a fair observation, interpretation of how deep BGO is when it comes to Brendan. I think so.
Third fake reason for firing me, yeah. As I was editing 6 clips in a night, but I have no skills.
Blame the team.
The Red Bar story, not much more to it than they just reached out. So had people not wanted to have me on the show, it's not like I was going, I need to expose this story. People were reaching out to me going, do you want to come on my podcast?
Yo, big up Gitsy.
Do you have a gun?
He has poor skills.
Yeah. I don't know what poor skills mean. I guess maybe screenwriting or being I don't know, whatever. But yeah, big up Gitsy. I don't get this defense though. Like, just own it, innit? If you're gonna talk shit about someone, if you're gonna go out and just spread their business, just own it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if anything, if there's anybody that deserves the fucking run, the fucking promo run, the marketing run that BGO went on, if there's anybody that deserves that kind of, whatever that happened, Brendan is the one, right? Brendan deserves a lot of that because he's a piece of shit and he can be a big douchebag to people and stuff, and he's a bully, whatever else it may be. So just own it. Yeah, I wanted to fucking make him look bad because he tried to make me look bad in private and publicly. He was telling tales about me, making it seem I was a certain way. It negatively affected my employment, negatively affected how I was viewed by other people in the industry. The industry is small. Word got around that I was hard to deal with, and so I wanted to get my get back. I wanted to get my revenge. That's fine. Just own it. Let's not act like, oh yeah, they were just calling me and I couldn't resist. It's like they asked me to on their show. You could have said no though. You didn't have to go on the show and trash Brendan. You could have said no.
It's just like, I guess. And Red Bar, they are so scared of Red Bar on GVADK, and I didn't know a ton about him because it was just one of these things where it's like, oh, stay away from Red Bar. It's like the forbidden clause.
Who tells you that when you start? Is that in the orientation
Brendan, there was
packet?
just this vibe, like they knew of Red Bar, and it was like kind of like the Reddit. It's like stay away from the Reddit. But he's in a different
Don't
world.
look at the Reddit because then you know the
but
truth.
I mean, to me, Red Bar is funny and does good content.
So with that, that's kind of funny to me because that makes me think like I was joking there, but an orientation of some kind where you start at Thick Boy Nation and they're like, here's a few things. Thanks for joining the team.
It's like orientation.
You know, here's a donut.
Yeah.
It's like drips on your shirt.
Stay away from Red Bar,
Got
stay
you.
away from the Reddit.
You're not going to get paid.
Watch out for the dripping donuts.
All crazy. Nothing they say is true. But Red Bar was treated like the boogeyman.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I've never got that. I'm like,
can't even say his
why
name.
are you guys so?
Oh, big up Boo Dizzy. Big up Boo Dizzy. Oh, BGL typed some wild shit about Sanaz in the chat. I put the screenshots in the general channel on Discord. Okay, cool. Big up Boo Dizzy. I'll check that out when I finish this clip. Big up Boo Dizzy. You're doing the Lord's work. Appreciate you, Boo Dizzy.
Scared of this.
Like Voldemort.
Yeah. And big up Apex Putter. Yeah, that was his show. Haters will say that was BGL's old show on Thick Boy. Short run, but very entertaining.
Really?
No, it's great analogy.
Okay. Yeah.
It was like.
Because we used to be like that too a little bit.
Oh yeah,
we love Red Bar. I mean, it's hilarious, and you know he's a controversial figure. But when we first started, we were just like, maybe we shouldn't need to say anything about Red Bar at all.
And you know what's funny is his fans have been really cool to me. Like that's one of the more supportive communities of people where I came on and a lot of people were like, "Oh, he was trolling you the whole time." I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What his intentions were. We had Mike. I know. He probably wanted a little more out of me, and he was trying to press the conversation. But he's being a good broadcaster. It's like Howard Stern is trying to press you to say the most controversial thing. Info on you? Fuck no, dude. He has no idea what I have on him. He has no fucking clue. You know that movie, the Dark Knight Rises, when Catwoman?
He's turned up in it. He is turned up in it. He is turned up. God damn. Big up BGL. He is turned up. He is having a lot of fun right now. What was he on? Was he on the booze? Was he on something? Like he looks like he's happy. He looks like he's on some adult vitamin, some of that fucking Sam Tripoli shit, you know? He's on some of that Sam Tripoli multivitamins, you get me? Some of that Sam Tripoli creatine.
Played by what's her face, like leans into Christian Bale as like there's a storm coming. That's literally what I think of when I think of what's coming for Schaub. And I have to keep this under wraps because part of it is my legal case. So to put it out on YouTube would be detrimental to my financial bottom line.
It's taken a long time, isn't it? So it sounds like he still hasn't been paid what he's owed by Brendan. Is that common? People let me know in the stream chat because I got my money pretty quickly as soon as I kind of forced some things and did some physical intimidation type shit. But I got my severance. I got what was owed to me very quickly. Does it take? I guess it takes longer, innit, over there, or maybe because he's suing. Because I didn't really sue. I just pushed the company because the company I was working at prior. The guy didn't want to declare. Sorry, the guy didn't want to come. He was being a dick, and he didn't want to declare the company insolvent because he was looking to secure funding for another company. So he didn't want to have that bankruptcy on his record. So he waited until the last moment, until the other deal was gone before he did it. But obviously, in that moment, all of us employees were left in limbo. We didn't have the money. So me personally, I went out my way to, physically, personally intimidate him and shit and cause a bit of a scene, which then resulted in him panicking and then filing the company as insolvent before he was meant to do it. And then that, of course, put the things into motion for the payments to then get divvied out in the end. But I guess because he's suing, it's different probably, isn't it? Maybe because he's actually suing Brendan. And I'm assuming he's probably going to get more money than I did because I just got what was owed of me. He's probably going to get more money because he's trying to get whatever that was owed of him. And also, what's that thing called? Compensation, right? For monies that he could have made in that time, loss of earnings, emotional, physical distress, all that sort of shit. So he's probably doing that, I'd imagine. But it's taking long, man. Like, he's not been a part of Thick Boy for 3 years, it feels like? Has there been 3 years? Maybe more? Shit.
But it's like, he doesn't even know what's coming, and he's too stupid to realize I have everything, you know?
Right. He
You
should
have
just
nothing.
be. Yeah, he should.
He hired a private investigator to go to Luana's house, and Luana, like, owned the private investigator.
Oh shit.
Well, I mean, she's charming enough to be like,
Oh, big up Pity. Really? He took a call from his lawyer on his stream. His lawyer sounded insane. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I love it.
and she knew more about but Luana is skilled at manipulating men, you know. So, but also she played it very like savvy, and I applaud her for that. She was able to get the fact that Brendan Schaub was this guy's employer out of him when you're not supposed to do that as a private detective. And I have, I somewhere on my phone, but I can show the guy's card. I can show the letter he wrote and put to our apartment door, not realizing I was living there at the time, you idiot.
Yeah.
But he's operating under this impression. And I remember Luana called me and was like, what's this guy doing out there? Like, did you serve me with some papers or something? I was like, Luana, no, like, go, because I wasn't home.
Crazy.
I say, go look at what he wrote. He wrote this note, put a number on there. He was still in the area, so go just call him up, see what's up. He's a private investigator. He didn't say Schaub. She talks to him.
But hold on, why is he acting like this is not? Wouldn't the private investigator? Wouldn't they know that he was dealing with Luana at the time and got like? Wouldn't they have gone there because they thought he would be there? Why is he acting like that private guest? Why is he acting like the private investigator going to his now wife's house was a weird thing or was a dumb move? Wouldn't they have known that he lives there or that he kind of has been there? That's one of his fucking addresses. Because you're a private investigator, right? You'd kind of known addresses and stuff. You'd go there, no?
She knows what he's he goes, are you here because, she's like, who do you work for? And he's like, well, I can't really say. I go, oh, is it Brendan Schaub? And does it have to do with a bouquet of flowers that someone sent to his house and he's blaming it on Mark? And he's like, oh, okay, you know what this is about. And he's like, let me tell you the real story. One of these girls that he was having a long-term affair with.
Yo, big up,
That boy tweaking office sick 1 2.
A lot of acid reflux going on there, but maybe it's just the energy drinks, isn't it? Maybe just let's just blame the energy drinks. He also could be drinking a lot of Pepsi. There's a lot of acid reflux going on there, but he's having a good time, isn't it? Why not, man? It's what you meant to do in the stream. It's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be on a BGL thing on the end of this fucking marathon stream. I'm gonna be on a mad one. I'm gonna be on the BGL/unique thing at the end of this marathon stream. So make sure you become a member by clicking the link down below. And let's go. Let's hit 500 members if we can by the end of the 31 days. We've got 6 days to go. Let's see if we can do it.
Who's smarter than the rest. She has like an MBA and just a more accomplished professional and just somebody who you shouldn't cross. Like, you fucked around with the wrong girl. A lot of these girls he dates are idiots, but this girl, after he crossed the line with her, having lied to her for the last time, she sent a bouquet of flowers to Joanna, saying, just outing him for having long-term relationships. But the note started off with, this is not Mark. So, it's true, it wasn't Mark. However, it gave him just enough of a thing to go, Joanna, obviously it's Mark because it says this is not Mark.
Yeah.
And then he invented an entire story whereby...
Okay, I get it. So that bouquet of flowers that was sent to Joanna was sent by one of Brendan's side pieces. Again, man, my quote, which I'm going to get trademarked one day, the real enemy of women isn't men, it's other women. It's so true, isn't it? Because why would a woman do that to another woman? Why would you send a woman who you're having an affair with their husband a bouquet of flowers? That's some vindictive, evil shit. Like, what's that meant to do? You know what I mean? You're exposing obviously the guy, but that's obviously some like you're kind of gloating, rubbing their face in it. I don't know, whatever. And that person wrote on a note, "This is not Mark." But then Brendan used it because Slow Joe's kind of dumb as well. Let's be fair. Slow Joe, like Brendan's probably the Einstein of that household, who says everything you need to know, and he was probably able to think on his feet and be like, "Oh, see that Mark guy I keep telling you about? He's fucking crazy," And she believed it. Fucking wild, isn't it? How she believed it. Fucking wild.
I somehow went to his house with a bouquet of flowers and a note and hopped over his fence. Like, it was a whole, I'm like, you have security cam footage. Like, I've been in your house. The whole thing is covered by, 8 different cameras.
What's your estimated time frame of
and he said to another side piece, hey, have you talked to Mark recently? It's like, no, what's up? He came by the house when I wasn't there. Like, he's harassing my kids. He's like, no way. And he's like, yeah, I had to get the police involved. Like, I'm on the phone with them right now. I'm like, oh, yeah. The police, sounds.
Yeah, big up Josie. Exactly. The kids are probably the smart ones of the house now. They're old enough. Exactly. That's the funny things. I have that feeling too. I have that feeling that Brendan Schaub's kids will end up probably being way smarter than the combined intelligence of Joanna and Brendan. They'll end up being way more street smart, way more considerate. They'll have way better emotional range, emotional EQ. They'll just be way more nice, considerate kids, despite how their parents are.
Good, bro. With the security cam footage of a worker from Joanna's favorite florist delivering, I just wonder how he gaslit her on that, because he's like, oh, he pulled out the fucking camera plugs, he cut the power to the security, because otherwise it'd be like, well, watch the footage.
Raise the volume of the clip. It's not me. It's the volume's kind of low, to be fair. Let me put it just a little bit above. But the volume of the clip is quite low. Unique usually records his volume like this anyway. It's not really me, but let's see how this works. Big up Purple Page.
Where am I in this equation? It was just one of the more hilarious things where I go, this willingness to gaslight his wife and family in the craziest way possible, and then hire an investigator.
Yeah.
Or whatever. He does this with everybody, with lawyers. That's why he lost the unique lawsuit, because it's like, imagine Brendan Schaub's your client, and you have to rely on him to tell you the truth about what's going on. You're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, being his lawyer is like being anything. You got to be like we have another one if you want another one. Because I bid off that one.
Mark Harley went on Brendan.
Interesting comments there. Very, very interesting comments. Yeah, man. You have to kind of give Brendan props for thinking on his feet like that. I'm not gonna lie. You have to kind of give Brendan props for thinking on his feet like that. The bouquet of flowers arrives. Most likely it's from a side piece. Probably who it's from, specifically which side piece it is. He thinks on his feet and he's able to spin the bouquet of flowers that comes to his house as a way to kind of out him, right? I'm assuming the woman that sent it to his house was trying to expose him to the wife, to kind of call out his bullshit. He's a liar, he's a cheat, blah, 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 blah. And also to show off, women are sometimes when, sometimes it's a point of like exposing and also showing off the fact that they fucked your guy. But regardless, she was trying to warn Joanna, and he fought on his feet and was able to spin it. But it's smart because he was probably complaining about BGO a lot in his household. That's a smart play. He was probably complaining a lot about BGO in his household. Then when the flowers came up, the BGO was an easy person to kind of like pin the blame on. Like, that's the boogeyman. Oh, it's him. It's that guy there. You know what I mean? It was a smart kind of like maneuver. So big up him for that. Big up him for that. And yeah, man, I guess the lawsuit is still ongoing. BJ and Brendan are still like, so what's Brendan's got like 3 lawsuits now on the go, right? He's got the unique thing, it still hasn't got thrown out yet, has it? They're still going back and forth because I think Brendan appealed that. He's got the lawsuit with the guy from the fucking CBD company, right? Because of the stuff that he didn't do as an influencer brand ambassador. And he's got this active lawsuit with BGO for, I guess, employment tribunal stuff. So Brendan's like in court over 3 separate things now. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. And most likely, I'm sure some of you guys know. Most likely he's gonna get a lawsuit for those truck giveaways. I have a feeling there's gonna be a big expose on that shit. So far, I think the common thinking behind how those truck giveaways work is that there's a company that basically acts as like they're the ones that finance everything, and they use Brendan as a front. They do it to all these celebrities, allegedly. That's what people are saying. there's a company that kind of like fronts, I guess, maybe puts up the money for the cards, whatever, and then Brendan gets paid a fee as a person to kind of promote the thing, and then I guess the company takes some money maybe from the sales of the t-shirts and stuff. But I think that's what I've heard online, or maybe I read it on the T5K subreddit. That's how it kind of works, and it kind of feels a bit. And this latest one, they haven't chosen a winner just yet. It's been done for a while, but there's no winner yet. So I'm really exactly, big up Z, exactly. I'm waiting for CoffeeZilla to do an expose on that. That's gonna blow up in a big way. That's gonna blow up in a big way. Big up Uncle Podcast, long time. Wagwan G. One of my favorite BGO stories. He told me that one in the DMs during the BGO Jimmerman debacle. Oh yeah, Jimmerman. Yeah, remember him? Has he got another? He's got another channel now, right? Is he Comedy Roast? Is that Jimmerman? Where's he gone now? Is that same guy? I think there's a channel I see sometimes pop up on my timeline called Comedy Roast something. Is that him? Big up Uncle Podcast. Hope you're good. All right, cool. Let's quickly move off of that one. Bear with me a second here. Bear with me a second here. What's it called? What's top give exactly? The truck giveaway equals Peter Thiel. It's fucking hilarious. I love that. Big up. Let's move on. I think we've done that right. Cool. Let's move on from that one. Let's go and check out. What else I wanted to go check out quickly? Oh yeah, let's do Schaub show. I want to see what he had to say. Let's do the Schaub show quickly. I want to see what Brendan had to say about the Rajah Jackson thing, because allegedly he's got some batshit crazy opinion about it. Let me see. Where's the Rajah Jackson Schaub show tab? Where's that? Oh, where'd I put it? Fuck. Where are you? Where's Schaub show? 1 second, people. Apologies for my shittiness here. I said biggest. Okay, biggest. Where are you, biggest? There you go. Boom. Schaub show. Let's check out what he said about. I want to see what he said about Rajah Jackson. Is there timestamps or no? No timestamps. Fucking hell, chin.
And now, Brendan Thick Boy Schaub.
Second. What's up, fam?
Someone blurred out his thighs, by the way, because of the shorts. Someone blurred them out on the T5K Reddit. They blurred out the thighs. So fucking hilarious. Pixelated the thighs. Too much skin.
How we doing out there? Everybody good? On your way to work? Dropping the kiddos off at school? Wish I could hear you guys, but I can't. All good. You guys are doing great, I assume. Everyone's crushing it out there. My kiddos don't have school today. I don't know if that's a national holiday. Is there something going on?
September 22nd.
I asked Tiger why he didn't have school. He said, my teacher says they have too much work to catch up on. They have to grade papers. I went, well, that's not a...
Rosh Hashanah.
Was that today?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Ask Jay.
Well, that's not a...
Wow, you can even hear him breathing down the mic. Rare appearance from legendary Axe J. Legendary Axe J in the house. Madness. We ain't seen him in a long time. Long time. Big up Axe J.
Rosh Hashanah.
Was that today?
Yeah.
I don't think they have today off for Rosh Hashanah.
Hebrew calendar.
But maybe. That's a Jewish holiday, right?
Yeah. I don't know what this is.
So
bro, they're your kids. No offense, but why don't you know? Why don't you know why they're not in school? They're your kids, no? Why don't you have any idea? They didn't send you a letter, you didn't call, you didn't inquire, you didn't ask other parents. Why don't you know why your kids aren't in school?
See Rosh Hashanah on the calendar too.
Maybe it's that. But according to my kiddo, again, he's 9, so take it with a grain of salt. He said the teacher said they need to catch up on grading papers. I went, okay, well, that's not a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So they're running amok, playing with their friends, staying outside. Your boy's been outside. If I look brown as shit. I've been outside. These are my weekends right now. I'm outside from 8 a.m. to about 6 p.m. Saturday, Sunday in the sun. With travel ball, they usually have 2 or 3 games, and you're outside the entire time. Now, it's different with travel ball here in
You should be embarrassed sharing these stories on the podcast when your brother's watching you, you know? You should at least pretend that you got like a serious show, you talk about serious topics, or you got an interesting, entertaining show. You should be kind of embarrassed that you're repeating this fucking baseball dad spiel in front of strangers while you're in front of your brother. Like, you should be a little bit subconscious. I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna pretend that I've got like an entertaining show, a cool show, not a show where I just fucking, trauma dump or use it as a fucking audio visual diary. Like, allow it, man.
Texas, it's a little toasty. The sun is just nonstop. In LA, you didn't really need tents. You didn't need to basically bring an entire camp with you. You didn't need to bring tents and folding chairs.
Yeah, Zaki, big up Josie. Zaki, it's even easier to look up on the website. It gives you the calendar. I don't know, just be aware. Why are you not aware of these things? I don't know. It's just strange. Aren't they your kids? Why are they just not in school randomly? Like, I'm sure he's been told. He just doesn't remember. He probably was told. He probably was made aware. Slow Joe probably knows. Joanna, I'm sure, knows. He just doesn't know, because the only thing he cares about is fucking travel ball. Travel ball. That's all he really cares about. But it's like, how could this school not tell you? It's impossible.
In Texas, you do. The field we play on, great fields, great facility. They don't have bleachers, so you have to bring all your own stuff. So you're basically packing for the weekend and setting up. But I can't sit down, so I pace around when my kid plays. I just pace back and forth, so I don't stay in the shade. And so the back of my neck looks dark purple. Not burnt, not red, dark purple.
You look very dark right now.
Yeah, dude, I get freaking toasty out there. It was hotter on Sunday. Boys played well. Man. Their first major tournament. So just so you guys know how it works in travel ball, there's single A, double A, triple A.
No way.
Yeah,
no, not the best. No, not having it. Sorry.
Great.
Sorry.
For a fight night, it's better from the weight class. Take my money. I'll watch that all night.
I want to go to the Raja Jackson stuff. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the Raja Jackson shit. Where they speak about Raja? Let's see if we can find it in the transcripts, because I can't do this, man. Jesus Christ. Let's see where he speaks about Jackson. There we go. Let's see. Not having you talking about, okay, cool, Raja, right? Raja. Cool, about here. Maybe it's about here. Let's see here. Is it there? 30, let's see.
Together?
That's going to be scary.
What else you got?
Raja Jackson finally got arrested, and he's officially charged with felony assault.
Oh shit! It looks like actually, yeah. Big up. I think Akshay's been on Ozempic too, isn't it? What do you think, guys, in the stream chat? He looks really skinny here, isn't it? I think they got a family discount on the Zempi, isn't it? I think they might have got a family discount on the Zempi. Because shit, he's looking very skinny too. Fair play. Buy one, get 2 free. Joanna got some. Brendan got some. He clearly got some too. Fucking hell. Fair play. Fair fucking play.
So, and he bonded out right away too.
So let me see here. I saw online he got arrested. Fine. It took a hot second, huh? God, move
This is
faster.
one of the long, yeah.
But they got to put everything together and I guess find him. I guess.
I mean, we saw the footage. It's like,
it says Raja Jackson, son of former UFC fighter Rampage Jackson, has been arrested for allegedly.
Oh my God.
Allegedly assaulting professional wrestler. No, we saw it. The attack, which was live stream, occurred. What was supposed to be a planned wrestling performance. Jackson's father, Rampage, said the incident was a work that went wrong and that his son had recently suffered a concussion. Okay. What we know. L.A. County Sheriff's Department records show Raja Jackson, who's 25, was arrested Thursday and remained in a Los Angeles jail on a $50,000 bond in the morning, but he
bailed out right away.
Bailed out, right?
Or bonded out.
Keep going.
Rampage Jackson's statement. I mean, that's pretty much the whole thing, though. He got arrested officially and charged officially. So felony assault.
Yeah. Keep going.
I think
Is
that's
that
it? Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna have to do some time. I don't think he's doing a long time. Like he might. I bet he does under a year for this and does some community service.
I wonder if he's actually going to do time.
He's gonna do some. Maybe. Who knows? They might do a plea deal where he does just.
They'll say like
service.
time served and all that crap. So, yeah,
I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm curious because now Roger Jackson, right? The reason we're talking about. The reason this is it would be a big deal if he wasn't Rampage Jackson's son. It'd still be a big deal if a guy just did this that you never heard of. You'd be like, holy shit. But it wouldn't be keep fucking trailing on like this. The reason most of the people in this space care about it is because he's Rampage Jackson's son. Yeah. So Raj is getting a ton of media attention. My question is, in this toxic world we live in, does Raja Jackson capitalize on all this negative attention he's getting, and does someone offer him a fight, like a real MMA fight?
What is that? Why is that even a question? What type of conclusion is that to come to? Huh? What? This is a terrible take. So as he's currently on bail for aggravated assault, maybe close to, if it would have went worse, thank God that guy's okay. It could have been worse than that. But while he's on bail for aggravated assault, he's going to get into a fight, go into camp and train for a fight to capitalize on the notoriety of being the guy that nearly killed a wrestler because he smashed a can on his head. Huh? I don't even know what that correlation is, why that hot take would make sense to him in his head. I get maybe the idea of like, oh, will he capitalize it and stream more? Will he start a podcast or something? Will he talk? Okay, but like, fight. Who's gonna offer him a fight contract? Which commission's gonna allow him to fight anyway? Like what? While he's currently under active police investigation, or he's been charged with something and he has to got a court date. Like, why would he fight? I don't get it. Such a bizarre take.
Like a regional circuit offers him a fight, or does a wrestling, like not the WWE, but you know what I'm saying, that type of wrestling, a much smaller promotion, take advantage of this and offer him an actual match.
Take advantage of what? But what are they taking advantage of? The fact that he's derided and he's been widely like disparaged and spoken bad of because of how he was so out of control and violent in that. What are they taking advantage of? Even Rampage Jackson, who's not involved in this at all, is getting a lot of bad press, a lot of bad blowback from this whole thing. Even he is not suffering. Even he has not escaped the consequences of what went down in that ring. One of the wrestlers that told Raja to go and get his receipts or whatever in the ring, his get back, he's getting trouble. Like, everyone connected to this is not doing well. Everyone connected to this is being, especially in the bad way, is being looked at a certain way. So what do they have to take advantage of? I don't understand what he's even talking about here.
I'm gonna tell you, yes, that's how this goes in this toxic environment. So it's gonna get weird.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? That's not how it goes. Who are you talking to? He's gonna fight in a fight card, and then that's gonna take. Huh?
He definitely is I'm pretty sure he has this, but like a good PR team to say exactly how sorry he is for all this stuff and show the world that he's changed, and then things will be better. But
a good PR team. What PR team does Roger? A PR team. Rampage needs a PR team. He doesn't have one. He's currently on stream now, trying to fuck like early 20s or teenagers and shit, or alleged overage girls, they say, while his son is fighting for his life. I don't think he's missed a kick stream just yet. Rampage Jackson. He needs a PR. They're about PR. They don't have any PRs. Like, huh?
Probably lay low for about a year though.
A year?
Don't you think? Or do we forget about him in a year?
I mean, as far as like doing like a apology tour, do that first, and then maybe before he fights a year.
The move would be do like a tag team thing with Stu, the guy who fucked up, and then Stu says, listen, got out of hand, blah, blah, blah.
They become buddies.
They're buddies. They
Yeah.
become a tag team. They're like the Bash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Be good for Stu, too, you know?
The way Brendan's head works, the guy's got a fracture in his face, right? Whatever, was it the maxilla bone? The bone behind your nose is fractured. He was in hospital for like 8 days or something, right? 8 days intensive care. And Brendan thinks Psycho Stu's going to be happy to be in a tag team partnership with Raja Jackson to make money. When Psycho Stu could probably sue the kid and make way more or get way more. What? And why would he be comfortable to, Who knows? Maybe he's right. And I'm mocking it, and he's actually, 4D chess way out of his, maybe he's right. But for right now, that sounds like one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard in my life.
And this is pretty wild too. This all happened when Rampage Jackson has this like new rebirth. Like he's like so much more famous
everywhere.
now.
He's with that Speed kid. He's with the other kid, the influencers.
Neon or something.
Yeah, he's all up in the spotlight. It's tough for Rampage.
Big up Star Disease.
You have a gun?
Big up Star Disease.
Hey Psycho Stu, have you tried love? Boppa.
Exactly, it's on his Lex Friedman thing, isn't it, Brett? It's on his Lex Friedman thing.
Just a dad, I don't know his relationship with his kiddos. It's tough for him. He said, I'm not talking to Raj right now because he defamed my name. It's like, eesh, that ain't the way to go. Kid needs you now more than ever. He's in a world of fucking trouble and needs to figure his way out through this darkness. Now's not the time to not talk to him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to handle that as a father.
Yeah, I don't know what you do.
Yeah, Chin, maybe because you're not a father.
Only Rampage knows Raja, as well as he does. Who knows? Maybe this is the best route for him.
Yeah.
He always said too, like all his other kids, he's never worried about them at all. But he always says with Raja, he's like, dude, I got to make sure I have enough money to bail him out. He said that way
back.
back.
Like my other kids, I put money away for their college education. For him, it's bail money. Like, well, that's not good. That didn't age well. Hopefully they're doing all right. What else you got, Jim?
Horrible take, by the way. Horrible take. I don't think you're gonna hear a worse take regarding Raja Jackson and Psycho Stu's situation on any other platform, from any other talking head, from any other media figure. I don't think you're gonna hear a worse, more nonsense, idiotic take from anybody. Raja should take advantage of this notoriety, of this infamy, and try and book a fight against, I don't know, Javonte Davis. Eddie Hearn should promote it in collaboration with Turkey, and Dana White. They should put together a promotion where Raja fights, and then maybe he could do a wrestling fight with, maybe he could get together with Psycho Stu and they could form a wrestling tag team, and they could talk about their issues on an interview with Netflix. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, and again, this comes from he's a former professional. That's the really worrying thing about Brendan. He's a former professional and he has some of the worst takes you've ever heard. A former professional athlete, a former UFC fighter, heavyweight, top 15 ranked, and he has consistently the worst opinions you've ever heard. Truly astounding, truly one of a kind. Anyway, people, it's 5:40 a.m. here. I've got to bounce. It's 5:40 a.m. here. I have to bounce. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. 5:44 a.m. I am now going to bounce. Thank you for tuning in. Smash the like button down below before I leave, if you don't mind. Smash the like button down below before I leave, if you don't mind. Subscribe to the channel also, and of course become a member of the channel. Don't be lame. Become a member of the channel. Become a member of the channel. Don't be lame. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for joining in. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for day number 26. We're getting there, bro. We're getting there. There'll be 5 more days after tomorrow. 5 more days. So big up everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out. Peace.